you ready?
This is the ChampionClix podcast with your hosts.
Who is Ravage?
Ryan Ruckman.
Ravage.
Hand me that bottle cap.
Miles Kane.
Hand me that paperclip. Grab that twine. Gun wrapper.
Daniel Schwab.
We are
Best friends.
Asgard to mouth.
And Pete.
'Cause I'm just me.
Welcome back to the ChampionClix podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, are Miles, Dan, and Pete. Miles, what's up?
Nothing much. Just had a long week. Got an appointment tomorrow, and then it's gonna be another week in California, so that's gonna be fun. Taking care of my dad.
Well, we do wish him the best. Is he doing better right now?
Sort of. He's a little bit behind, and I was only supposed to be there for a week, and it's probably gonna be 3 weeks. So,
Gotcha. Well, hopefully he does well.
He's just being a baby. His old age is getting to him.
Okay. Dan, how's your heel turn going?
Probably not much better than John Cena's right now, so we'll see.
His heel turn is going amazing.
Oh, well, then not as good as his. So.
All right. And two rares, Pete. Have you chosen a team for Adepticon yet?
No, I'm down to 3. I mean, 2 serious ones. One that just keeps bouncing back and forth into my head, which is probably what I'll end up playing, and is probably the worst option. So, yeah. 2 rares, Pete, yeah. We had a couple of sealed events. I managed to pull my typical CURs in both Spider-Verse events, so it's just a normal sealed for me here.
How did that make you feel?
So,
I actually didn't dislike either one of my teams. One of them went 2-1. The other one did not do much. Went 1-2. But I think that we can talk about the set. I think it's really pretty fun and sealed, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had a great time at the ChampionClix Open this last weekend. We'll be getting into detail about that pretty shortly. But first,
What would be fun?
Pete, what do you got?
Hello, friends. It's time for the People's segment, the Bookwood Report. Bookwood had himself a week. I got a list here, boys. I'm telling you. He got himself a Doc Ock chase for $50 and a Lady Octopus and Octopus Arms for $12. Then he got himself a Mysterio chase. Then he got himself a Craven chase. You're noticing a theme here, right? Then he pulled off Primarch. Then he got Prime Spider-Ham. Then he got Prime Craven Superior Octopus and Spot. And then he rounded it out with a Sandman. That's some pretty degenerate trading and spending from Bookwood.
It really is.
oh, that's one hell of a custom case right there. I want to know how much he spent and see like how that was compared to a case.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Holy crap. Like, he basically spent a case worth of money, if not more.
I will say one thing for Bookwood, and I think Redman has kind of pointed it out before, like, that dude will start with a stick of gum, and by the end of it, he'll have something from it. So he is a wheeler and dealer. So
He's persistent.
I had to play him yesterday in our sealed event for launch day for Spider-Verse, and it was a fun game, but it was a rough dice game for both of us. It was like comical how bad neither one of us could hit the other person. But he did end up beating me. He finally. My rollouts finally wore off, and he took it. So I don't know if anybody else played him yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I did, and I stomped him.
Yeah.
Felt pretty good.
Good, so we're right back.
We got that on film.
What's that?
We got that on film, right? Because we need every Bookwood smashing recorded.
I was gonna say, and you're talking about my heel
No,
turn.
that
Oh,
one.
yours.
That one was the day we recorded, or just got back from ChampionClix.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we traveled Wednesday, and then we played Thursday. First, we went to an amusement park Thursday. Then we played Battle Royales on Thursday. Then we did the 2v2 on Friday, Modern on Saturday, Team Sealed on Sunday, traveled on Monday, and then played in the release day event at our local store. So that was 5 days in a row. It was a lot.
Yeah.
So no
Oh, yeah.
recording on this one, but I did get to
First
pull
of
the Chase Mysterio, so I felt pretty good about that. So even if I lost all three, I didn't care.
First world problems.
Yep.
We got our store's awesome. I just want to give a quick shout out to Coliseum Games in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Like we were basically all sitting there for the event, and they came out and handed out like the buy it by the case prizes just to people that came. So automatically, we started the day with the Spider Rex and the trio.
Yeah,
was
which-
wondering
I-
why you asked about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is super super awesome. Like they're
Oh,
just
yeah,
a
yeah, that-
phenomenal store that supports us. So I
Had I
really
known-
appreciate them.
Had I known that, I would have taken a Spider X because I only got the Web Warrior trio.
should have showed up. You would
I
have gotten
got
one.
it.
Yeah,
all of
well,
them.
I'm sorry. I
I'll
was
give you
excited.
Well, in Orlando, we just did get back from the ChampionClix Open on Thursday. Like we mentioned before, it was just Battle Royales, all full brick BRs. So there was a ton of figures on the map for the first, I think, 2 days. Dan, did you play a bunch of the BRs or no?
I played my 2 free BRs that I got because I couldn't play. So thanks, Skynet. Appreciate it because I got 2 free BRs from you. So thank you. I did the full brick BRs. Yeah, they were fun. I think they stopped doing that after Friday, right? Or yeah, they stopped doing it after Friday.
Well, they were still full bricks, but you didn't have 10 figures on your team.
Yes, sorry. That's the specific that changed.
But you didn't get a chance to play with the less amount of figures, did you?
No, I had to play with all 10 figures, which was wild because I pulled Hypno Hustler, and I was literally mind controlling the whole map. So it was like I had 6 bolts, and 7 range. It was stupid.
Yeah, they were the 10 figure BRs were a little bit too much. So there was 40 figures on the map at least at any given time, which was kind of crazy. And
I actually really enjoyed it. Honestly, it was fun. That was a very different type of BR, which was kind of cool.
But the prizing for buying into a full brick BR, that's the best part right there. Is even if you lost, you still felt like you won.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a really cool way to do it. That's my preferred way of doing it now, is definitely the full brick ones. So Friday was the 2v2. This was the Alphabet Soup event. Both teammates had to pick the same letter to build with. Each of your pieces and elements had to start with that letter. It was Silver 400, Highlander, and so no piece could be repeated. I wasn't the biggest fan of this event. We had a lot going on and a lot to build for. More excited for Modern and all the other stuff that we're doing. So I did not take a lot of time into prepping for this one. Dan, this is the one you were originally supposed to do with Harris, right?
Yes, me and Skynet were supposed to team up, and that did not happen. So Harris, I'm gonna need to make that happen sooner or later.
Hopefully next year. But the winners for that one were Ed and Isaac. I'm pretty sure they played S. Total count, I think, was 16 S's out of 26 teams. And was it like 2 B's and 2 W's and 2 C's or something like that? But the majority of the field was S. I went 4-1 in that one, and I think we ended up making top 16, Christine and I. We played S also, but yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the event, so hopefully that one does not return. But Saturday, that was a lot of fun. That was 300 Modern. We had 62 people, I think it was. Dan, do you
Yes,
want to go into your first round on this one?
Sure. So my first round, I played Jose Bergen first round. He played the Silver's Peoples in Peoples 2. So he played Prime Colossus with the Hell Cycle, Ulysses Bloodstone with Stormbreaker, Death Metal Wonder Woman, and then Kevin with Avatar Turret and Predegaton. So I lost this one. Poor choice, because I did not realize about the Beetlejuice and Kevin interaction. That Beetlejuice just clicks Kevin's dial, and you don't take him off the map. So I did not realize that, so I should have put him outside. I put him on Brock's bunker, and he called Juice in first turn. So my team is heavily reliant on free actions because of Odin. He's my big character at 150 points, and so a lot of my team just got pretty just shut down. I wound up getting 25 points, and he got 300 just because, like I said, it was rough after that because not being able to do what my team does was pretty detrimental to me. And like I said, a map choice would have made because he went first and he had me pick map. So had I picked the open map that I had on my build, probably would have helped me quite a lot in that matchup. So, but I learned a lot from that match, which was it actually helped me the rest of the day, honestly.
And then, sorry, do you want to go over your team? I totally forgot
Sure.
about that part.
Yeah. So I played Legacy Odin with the trick arrows. I played Death Metal Wonder Woman with the +1 longsword, which, by the way, that is a thing. So amazing with the +1 longsword. I played the regular super rare Black Panther from Black Panther with the Avatar of Khonshu, and then I had the uncommon Shuri at 30 with the Avatar of Atum. And then my sideline was Power Gem, Rivalry, Ares, Atum, Khonshu, and Mimic. I had the Nifty Barrel. So.
Is there anything you would have changed on that team?
No. I think my team is as optimized as I can make it. Power Gem and Rivalry came up every game unless I got Chair Panthered, which happened only once, and they were huge. My team, I think the things I have on the board, I think that's as much as I can stretch it with trying to make Odin work. And then I think the biggest thing was when I was forced to choose map, just picking the wrong map, and then just some placement issues. So otherwise, my team did what it was designed to do, and I still went 3-2, and I almost beat the guy that placed second. So in my last round of Swiss. So.
And what place did you end up placing in?
31 was where I placed.
Okay, so do you know how many points you were off of making it to top 16? Because there were some 3-2s that made it, right?
I would have had to score a lot more points because I was not, because of the way my team is designed and the teams I played against, they all called out Keaton almost immediately. My team scores a lot.
700 points.
Yeah,
It looks like.
And I only had 420, I think, so I needed another 300 points.
Now
So you're talking.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. You needed 700 plus points. It's 16th place. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, but I was almost 4-1. So.
Yeah. No, your
I was-
matchups though, when you look at it, you weren't slow playing it or anything. You were going against Juice, and it's going to be low scoring games, sadly.
Yeah, it was tough to score points once he was out on the board. So, and then the match where I had to face him on board, I knew what I was doing by that point because I was round 5.
And you've had to judge a lot of the games that we've played around here lately, so you haven't had too much experience playing against Beetlejuice. Now that you've had a little bit more in-game experience, what's your opinion on him?
I mean, it's annoying because it's just. I mean, my team is heavily dependent on free actions because of the 150 point character I have as a legacy figure. A lot of his powers are free actions. Most of my movement on my support pieces is TK or like I have like sidestep. I have a lot of outwit. I have a lot of perplex. So a lot of my stuff is dependent on taking those free actions. So it really is detrimental to me. But again, I can make it work. I just have to do different things with my team to work around it. It's not saying it was like an enjoyable experience, but I can certainly play better to turn that around.
Okay.
No, the Kevin interaction is one thing though that I think should not be a thing.
I did not realize that until like late. It was just basically that first game. I was just like, that works, and he's like, well, you can call the judge, and I'm like, I get it, but it was not something I had ever experienced yet locally here. So I was like, that's new. You get all the upsides without basically the downsides.
Overall,
it's
though,
insane.
do you feel like he makes more pieces unplayable, right, than a more friendly field?
Oh yeah. At least for the one. So the team that main forced him, at least like there was a struggle there too on their end because there's a lot of times where like I killed the Daredevils once and he had to turn him and he turned him to sidestep or something and he's like, oh well, I can't sidestep. So there was like the team that main forced him struggled too because they also had free actions, but it does make a lot of things just tougher to play because you're not able to use a lot of standard powers or just anything that's there. So
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I was just curious on your opinion now that you actually had to play against him a little bit more.
yeah.
All right, so I played Blue Beetle Goes to Orlando, which was Prime Blue Beetle at 75 points with the Cosmic Viewer. Big shout out to Nate Ortiz, who got this to me. Real quick, the story behind the Cosmic Viewer. We had, I was trying to get one for I think like 2 weeks leading up to the event, and I finally decided that I just wasn't going to be able to find one. So I was trying to look at other options, and I was probably just going to be going with 2 time breakers instead of 1. But on Tuesday before we left, Bookwood messages me and tells me that somebody has one up for trade. So I was messaging him all of Tuesday, and we worked something out, and he was actually able to overnight it on Wednesday for the Saturday event. But because of weather or whatever it was, it did not get there on Thursday, and then it didn't get to Orlando until Friday morning, I think at like 7:30. So it didn't look like it was going to even make it on Friday, and then I'd have it maybe on Saturday when the event already started. So not happy about that. But the it ended up just showing up where it was supposed to Friday late afternoon, so I was able to get it for the event, and it made a huge difference in a lot of my matches. So that Cosmic Viewer, all it does is give a minimum range of 4 and improve targeting hindering, but Blue Beetle being able to see through stealth was huge in a lot of my matchups. But then in addition to that, I went with Ulysses Bloodstone with the Crimson Gem still. Chair Panther. I did go back to the Avatar of Tomb on Black Panther. Him being able to shoot the Vibranium definitely came into play a lot more than needing the longsword in case somebody bases him. So definitely keeping that change. Harley Quinn, the chase one, I was actually the only person to play her in a 62-person event, which that just blew my mind. If you went into the meta, nobody else played Chase Harley Quinn from Masters of Time, which
That's insane because what's his name? Because John won an event and placed second with her with his past team. So yeah, that's insane that you're the only person.
She's
out of
amazing.
62 people.
Yeah, 62 is a huge high level event, and I was the only person with her. But I put the trick arrows on her. That was one of the big changes that I made, which was, again, huge. It allowed me to dish out mainly the Nth metal very easily, getting rid of most of the rollouts, things like that. So definitely, again, another change that I'm keeping. And then Perdegaton with the Bloodstone, he kind of just helped keep it safe. He usually would stay back. We talked about him being on his enhancement clicks in Pensai a little bit more often, and I think that definitely did help. I'm going back and forth on the next one, which is Daredevil with the universal weapon. I like to use my Daredevil a little offensively, but being able to have that universal weapon on Perdegaton and still be able to TK while being on that Pensai click would have been big in a lot of games too. So that's one thing that I definitely need to make a decision on before Adepticon. And then the Weasel Paw.
I like that choice.
What's that?
I the universal weapon on Perdegaton because you get the attacker benefits plus him being able to TK. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards making that choice. The only thing is that I use my Daredevil as a pretty aggressive block, and when he has the Bloodstone, he's a bigger target, I think. So I'm not sure if I can move that or move something else around because I'm pretty much everyone's got something on them if they can. So I'm not sure if that'll play out. That's something I'll definitely choose after the next week or two. But then the Weasel Pog, that came in big for the +1 attack and the enhancement, and just the time breaker, one of them at 5 points just to kind of get that extra mobility. Sideline was Fortify, Rivalry, Ares, Attuned, Beetlejuice, and Mimic. Maps were Major Brock's Bunker, Sentinel Factory, and the Mansion. And then the objects were, of course, the Nifty Traffic Barrel, the Heart-Shaped Herb, and the Vibranium. So I like this team a lot. We were able to practice a decent amount. I made some tweaks, and I felt like it was pretty strong. But I wasn't totally sure how it was going to play out at a big event like this. So my first round one was against Darren Gendron. He played Amazon Prime same-day delivery. So this was an Amazon theme with the Chase Diana with the Dream Ruby, Superwoman, the Legacy with the Universal Weapon, the Wonder Woman with Bloodstone, Death Metal Wonder Woman with Bloodstone. Then, what is this one? Oh, no. Yeah, that one was Death Metal Wonder Woman with the Bloodstone. And then it was the Wonder Woman with the whip from the trio pack with the long sword. And then Zala
Yeah,
Jor-El. Yeah. Zala Jor-El with the Avatar of a Tomb, and then the Lucas, PJ, and Scott Pog. So this one really caught me off guard right in the beginning, and I really didn't know how to play this one. I Chair Panthered his Mimic and his Ares, and I tried to kind of play, see if I could kind of catch his bluff and see if he wouldn't bring in Beetlejuice, just because he really didn't have anything that he could do on his team to mitigate the damage to keep him in. And he ended up bringing him in turn 1, which it kind of threw me off because I set up thinking that he was going to stay in. So then when he went off on his turn 2, I really wasn't set up to use him. Or I wasn't set up to kind of push forward and attack on the second one. But he came in with, I think it was Zala Jor-El early, and I think I hit my super senses with my Daredevil. And then I tried to delete her with my Beetle on my next turn. And I forget what I rolled. It wasn't a 5 or a 6, but it did KO her. So he brought her back with Wonder Woman, but she couldn't heal, so she was still on her last click. And then I was able to kind of stay offensive for the most part. He took out, I think, a couple of my pieces because he was starting to catch up. And then I ended up being able to rally back in the end. So I ended up taking this one. So he was able to take a couple of my pieces. I think it was, you said he got 40 of my points, right? So he was able to take out, it might have been Daredevil and I'm trying to think what else he got.
Was it like an object? Was it one of the objects or something that he got off you?
He took it was Daredevil, it looks like Weasel.
What, in the barrel, maybe?
A few time breakers.
It might have been a couple of time breakers because he hit me with something on one area that got Weasel. So it was probably a couple of time breakers and maybe Perdegatson later on. But I was able to hit pretty hard with Blue Beetle and Ulysses. They were teaming up pretty hard on him. So I ended up taking that one 300 to 40. Dan, do you want to go into your round 2 match?
Yeah, so round 2, I played James Salisbury, who played Wakanda Forever. This was a matchup that was favorable for me because he was playing Hadari out at 100 with the Universal Weapon. He also played Brother Voodoo with the Bloodstone, the Prime, and then he was one of the other people that played the regular Super Rare Panther with Khonshu. He played Achille and Shuri, the Uncommon, and then Everett K. Ross and a Shield Operative, the Pog. He put me on, what was that, the Sentinel Factory, and so it was a little slow at first because he realized what my team does, and I can just shut his main attacker off, and he doesn't have a ton of mobility on his team, so he had struggles to get to me because he couldn't just see through the map. And with me parking in stealth with Panther, it was just a hard, I built a relatively solid defense up there. I was able to get up slowly. Like I killed his brother Voodoo, but he revived with one of the wish tokens. So I was like, well, I don't have to worry about him reviving anymore. And he kind of pulled him back. And then I just slowly worked on the rest of his team. Like I think I got, he switched Ross out for a Midnight Angel, and I got the Shield Operative, the Midnight Angel, what was that, 40, 50? I think I only got, 100 points. And then I got Panther and something else. So it was a little slow there just because of what happened, like him realizing like my team is a very hard counter to Hadari. So he was a little more defensive with that, but yeah, I ended up winning 100 to 65. So.
All right. Then my round 2 was against Azareth Strife. So this is the first time I actually got to play Az, and this is a team that he actually was talking to me about, and I told him not to play it because I hate Superman and I hate the Kryptonian builds. But he did anyway, so I did feel like there was a little bit more on this match because if I lost to it after talking bad about it, that would look not great. So he played the starter.
Yeah, no, this is a must.
He played the starter Superman with the motorcycle, the Diana Chase with the Hell Cycle, Reverse Flash with the +1 Longsword, the Chair Panther with Dream Ruby, and then Predegaton at 20 and a Time Breaker. Sideline was Mind Gem, Pim Particles, Rivalry, Ares, Beetlejuice, and Mimic. So I took out with my Chair Panther, I think it was Ares and Mimic again, and then gave him Beetlejuice. He came in on turn 2. I used his blocking terrain on, I think, my turn 2 with Predegaton. I had my TK click that time, and I actually brought him up to TK. He brought us to the Bloodstone Maze, and I brought him up just to TK back his blocking terrain to help kind of protect me for an extra turn. And then he ended up bringing in Diana and Superman, and he ended up scoring 85 points off me. So he went up, I think, pretty early. He got some of my lower point stuff like Weasel, some Time Breakers, I know, a Daredevil token, and he might have gotten Predegaton as well. So he hit a lot of my smaller pieces, and that left me with, I think that was the only game my Chair Panther died also. But he left me with Ulysses and Blue Beetle and Harley Quinn. So I was able to get rid of Diana and the Superman, I think, on my next turn. And that left him with Reverse Flash and his Predegaton. And I think I stopped his breakaway. He hit it and I probbed that. And then he had to stay there with his Reverse Flash because the Traffic Barrel turned off his improved movement. So I was able to kind of lock down the rest of his pieces there, took out his Predegaton, and then his Reverse Flash. And then he did bring out Beetlejuice, and it was the only game that I was actually going to call out Beetlejuice. And then I realized that he already had taken mine off, so I wasn't even able to do that. So that was that one. Very happy I won that one, though, because I don't think I would have heard the end of losing to starter Superman. I ended up winning that one, though, 300 to 85. Dan, what about
80
your...
of us losing to Kryptonians, man.
Yes, that wouldn't have gone over well. Dan, what about your round 3?
So round 3, I played Guadam, and he was playing Super Troopers, which is Prime Colossus with the motorcycle, Caveman Wally West with the +1 longsword, Diana with the Hell Cycle, Space Ghost, Predegaton with Turret, a Daredevil at 10 points, and a Timebreaker. So he put me on Vibranium Mines because I elected to go first. So I picked the low side, and then I put the traffic barrel down in the water, but near the elevated, and I basically parked up on the elevated there. And then he didn't realize what Odin does, so I unworthy Diana so that she couldn't do her thing, or it was gonna like be a struggle to get to me, basically. He still made it work, but he came in with Caveman Wally first, and then he actually whiffed the attack. And so because I think he ended up rolling a crit miss on the attack, so he was on click 2, which actually led to Wally getting killed later in the game. And then he came up with Diana, and he didn't actually end up hitting, but by that time that was about turn 3, and then he called in Juice because he just wanted to shut down what my team was doing. But he had moved most of his guys up enough. My Mimic did eat he had a phone booth, so my Mimic ate the phone booth and just tied up Colossus, even though he had improved movement. He just kind of left him next to Mimic. So, because he had the motorcycle on him, I think he had him on the improved movement characters and then reflexes. So that game was a lot of back and forth. Like, I was able to survive for a while with my rollouts because he just couldn't like outwit me anymore. So my death metal just didn't die. And I had learned from my first game that when I was expecting him to call out Keaton immediately, so I just dropped my Ravens turn 1 and I just have them that way, and that made his alpha a lot harder to deal with because he just had to call. He couldn't rivalry me because they were in the way, and then with the barrel there, he couldn't just get through them. So he didn't end up rivalrying me until later, and I think he couldn't even kill Death Metal because of it. So that worked out well in my favor, and then I was able to kill his. What was it? I think he had to give up a couple time. Yeah, he gave up I think 3 time breakers, and then I killed Wally, and then I crushed the longsword. Because what was it? I won 85-75. Yeah, so that's what did it. Because I crushed the longsword as well as I killing Wall. Because what happened was as I moved Odin over further out of the way because I have 8 range, I'm not really worried about it as long as I can get line of fire. So I was able to shoot, and I just one hit Wally because he took the 1 click for the crit miss. So I just dealt him 5 and killed him. Colossus did end up getting my Shuri. I think that was it. Was it Shuri? I think. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, it was. Oh no, it was Shuri and Panther. Where's the other 5? Oh, I used Rivalry, so I gave up 5 points for that. But yeah, it was a really tight game towards the end there. But it felt like I was turning it around there. He was like struggling because he was gonna have to pull Beetlejuice back out because he had killed all of his time breakers. So he was gonna have to pull him back out, and then I thought I could have gotten back ahead then. So because my Death Metal was not or stop click quite yet. Shuri was still alive, or no, they were 2 are gone, but I had Death Metal and my Odin was top dial. So, but that was the trick I learned with. With that was just if I'm worried about having Keaton come out immediately, I just drop my Ravens. I may not be able to do the other stuff, but at least having them there, having the +1 or the -1 defense, -1 attack constantly is huge. So.
Mm-hmm. What was the final score?
I won 85-75.
Gotcha.
So unfortunately, I wasn't getting a lot of points though. That was the tough part each game because between juice or just like the people playing more defensively, it was just I wasn't getting a lot of points. So.
Well, and 10-pole teams are like that though in Modern, especially with a figure like Odin. He's not one that's just going to go and just destroy your opponent. He's going to be the one that's going to it's more of a defensive 10-pole. So
Yeah,
well, no, I have a lot of range, but he's a control piece. Like that's his whole tempo.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, he's not going to be like wiping pieces like we have some of the other 10-poles like Collector, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a different play style.
All right, and then my round 3 was against Matt Ventura. He played Wakongda. So this was another one where he beat me pretty hard last year. He had, I think it was a Rocco theme where it was like Genesis and 4 Carnage Silver Surfers and then Prime Hulk. And he came over, I think started with like a crit hit and just destroyed my team pretty hard. So I definitely wanted to win this one pretty good, pretty heartily.
It was also on stream, so yeah, everyone was clamoring, and it wasn't just me. Everyone was clamoring to see Beetle, since you were the only, I believe.
There was one other one that played it, yeah, but not. There was not a whole lot.
Everyone heard that you were playing Beetle. They were like, "Yeah, no, put Beetle on." So,
he played. This was one of my favorite teams of the day, though. This was Prime Black Panther with the +1 longsword, the Black Panther, the Shuri Black Panther from the new 400 with the avatar of Khonshu, and then a Kong at 50 points, the A side to Black Panther with the trick arrows, and then Chair Panther with the universal weapon. And then his sideline was Fortify, Pin Particles, Ares, Cathan, Khonshu, and Midnight Angel. So I took off on him, I think it was Ares and Fortify with my Chair Panther. Oh, he had the nifty Traffic Barrel as well. And so his big play in the beginning, we went to Brock's bunker, and his big play in the beginning was he wanted to get my Traffic Barrel. So he didn't necessarily overextend because he was able to get back to his starting area and do what his team was supposed to do, and that's allow Kong to get the Black Panther team ability from Black Panther, and then also get the smoke cloud, which then gives him stealth and you can't see him. So this was the first. Oh, I didn't say about the Cosmic Viewer. So in my first game, he brought us to the courthouse. So I had to shoot through a lot of hindering, and the whole reason that I was hitting some of those first attacks was even, and I didn't give the +1 defense because of the hindering terrain. So Cosmic Viewer came up big in that first game, but this one also came in even bigger. So he perplexed up his Kong's movement, I believe, and then he came in and destroyed a bunch of the walls and then took out, I believe it was, he got 85. So he took out, I believe it was the Chair Panther. He couldn't, or not my Chair Panther. It was Daredevil, and I'm trying to think of what else he got now. It was Chair Panther, and he
got a few. He got a few time breakers. I think he got your Nifty eventually.
Yeah, because I know he wanted that gone. Yeah. But the
and then I forgot which one shot he scored. I'm pretty sure he scored one or both.
It was probably Fortify, but it might have been both of them. But he did his damage. He went up, and then he took his Kong back, and I was able to get a line shot with my Beetle, and I rolled the 6 on the delete, so took him out of it, and then I went up from there.
I just want to say that was people go nuts when you rolled that 6 on stream. It was hilarious.
That was the highlight. I wanted to get that off right there. So him again getting the Cosmic Viewer so that he could see Kong and the Stealth in the smoke cloud was huge because his team was built very, very neat. The that 400 Shuri actually does like a little boop. If you perplex, you can remove a Vibranium and then just move a character 4. So he was super mobile and it was really well built. The rest of the attacks just kind of went back and forth, and I was able to just go with Ulysses and take a couple more points. So that one ended with me getting 150 to his 85, but really good game. So Matt Ventura and I are now 1-1 at ChampionClix Open.
And then I have this. I've been waiting to use this for this team name. And this is specifically for Matt.
Wakanda forever.
Yeah, there we go. Wakanda forever, baby.
Do you want to go over your round 4, Dan?
Yes. So my round 4 was against is she Queen of Canada? I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, Queen of the North.
The North.
Queen of the North. I played Emily Rowett. So she was playing rejigged Timebreaker Untheme. So it was Prime Colossus with Motorcycle. As you can see, I play a lot of Prime Colossus that day. Butterfly, Death Metal with the +1 Longsword, Black Panther with Universal Weapon, a Daredevil with the Bloodstone, a Daredevil with the Trick Arrow, and a Timebreaker. So hilariously, she went into Major Logan because we shared Death Metal. And this match, my single rolls were like way on the far end. So I rolled out of pretty much everything that game. I put her on Brock's Bunker, which was probably another poor choice on my end, but it was still me trying to figure out like how best to handle teams like this with mine. She actually didn't call out Keaton immediately. I think she waited till turn 2 or 3 to call him out. So I was able to shut down her Colossus right away. And then I USB'd her Daredevils, or at least I think I got one of them. I got the Trick Arrow one was the thing, because I didn't really want to deal with that because I didn't want to get nth metalled or something. I can deal with the Bloodstone. I'm not really worried about healing that much. I can deal with the other stuff. It was mainly just the Trick Arrows that were the problem right away because she was body blocking with the Daredevils like you do. So I was like, well, I'm prepared for this. So,
it's a good tactic.
So, and she kept trying to butterfly and like draw the butterflies out, but we got so bunched up in the middle there in Brock's Bunker because I laid out a bunch of blocking to like halt her movement, and then I put the barrel like by the elevated section on the top end. So she actually couldn't really get Colossus to me after a certain point because I had made him unworthy first turn, and then I did it the second turn, and that's when she called out Keaton. So then I couldn't keep doing it. So, but by that point, the barrel was already there, so she couldn't just run through blocking to get to me. And I flipped the one turn because she pulled the Miles. She Chair Parented my Rivalry and my Ares because she wasn't letting me do that either. But I don't think my Mimic came out that game. No, it did. It ate. What did it do? Did it eat the phone booth again? Or did it eat? Yeah, it ate the phone booth. Because I didn't really feel like having Colossus walk around with the phone booth again. Like, that's just not a fun time. So, So we did that, but she got my phone booth, and then because our game was really low scoring, and then I flipped my, what was it, my power gem, and I'm trying to figure out how she got the other 5 points. So, but anyway, there was a lot of times where I was hitting my super senses on a 6. Like I'm pretty sure I rolled 6 of them that day on the 6, even though she Major Logan me. And then for the win, it was last action, and I was attacking her Daredevil, and my Death Metal crit hit
Oh,
and killed Daredevil for the 10 points. That was how I got my 30, because I got the 2 Daredevils and then the Nth Metal or the USB to kill the trick arrows. So it was 30 to 25. Oh yeah, because she got my Mimic and my crit hit card. That's what it was. So cause the power gem. So like for a little while there, we just couldn't hit each other because I had the birds out and she couldn't seem to kill them. So they were just like dropping her attack, so she wasn't hitting, and then it was just like, well, without my free actions, I was a lot slower. So it was that was a tough like knockout drag out fight there. We were just fighting in the middle for quite a while. So
no, I played a lot of Chair Panther, and they always took away my Mimic. Did your Mimic come into play a lot, or did you ever regret bringing it in?
no, he turned into the booth, or he ate the phone booth most of the time, which I think was a big deal because that saved, like, just me not having to deal with that is a big deal. I've played you enough that I know how to work around the traffic barrel. The phone booth is another thing that's just an annoyance. So I was like, well, I'll just take that out first, and then it also stops Colossus from moving because he just has to end whatever he's doing right there. So that was really nice to just slow him down for a turn.
Yeah. Okay.
And she had to sink like 3 attacks into Mimic because I hit the first shape change, so she had to sink 3 attacks into him to kill him. So
I have not been able to bring him out in any game I played, and he's been on my sideline quite a bit. So I'm just curious if it ever costed you a game because you brought him in and lost the 15 points.
no, it did not.
So it was never not worth it to bring him in.
Exactly, yeah. No,
Okay.
he was great. Mimic's great. I like when he eats a phone booth or eats a barrel or something.
Yeah,
So,
which is crazy to say that 15 point. It's worth paying 15 points to counter a 0 point object, but here we are.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's still 15 points that can do something is the thing. Because when he comes out, like I was able to poison, or like I attacked with blades. It was definitely worth it. So
Okay, good to know.
I also
My
I don't know, but I don't know if I'm allowed in Canada anymore. So you'll have to ask Emily because after that I
You
got
can
to
o-
hear it from her teammate Devin the day after. He was like, "Oh, so you're the guy," and I'm like, "That's me."
you can only play with their dice if you go there.
I think so.
I was 3-0 going into round 4. So round 4 I played Dan Powell. He played the double Gala Captain Marvels at 100 points each, both with the motorcycle, and then Kevin with the Avatar of Towerette. And this one definitely was a hard one to do, or go against, I should say. The biggest thing is that I misplaced my Harley pretty bad, and he was able to hit her and then get her with the knockback, and I think it was the knockback, but she ended up getting weakened and taken out too early, and she was vital in being able to take down this type of team. So losing her kind of made it a losing battle. His rollouts were just on point, and I did not have dice on my side for this one. So this one was easily my roughest game of the night. It was he got 170, and I was only able to get 15 in this matchup. So I don't even know where that was from. Those 15 points. Oh, from a 10
One
power.
shot.
Yeah,
Right?
just from one shots, the 10.1 and a 5.1. I think a rivalry and a power gem.
Wait, so you had Power Gym too?
No, they were his that he used, and that's why I got the
Oh,
points for them.
oh, gotcha. Sorry, I thought they were yours.
So yeah, that was a rough one, but I definitely was ready for when I faced the same team later on in a different round. But then after this one, I was 3-1. Dan, do you want to go into round 5, the final round of Swiss?
Yes, so I played Rob Olger, the second place contestant that day, or he finished second. So he mained Force Beetlejuice, with the motorcycle, and then he also had Ghost Rider with the Dream Ruby. He had Kevin, Predegaton, and 2 Daredevils, one with the Trick Arrow, one with Stormbreaker. So this was so by this point I had a fair idea of what I did. I took him outside, but he put all of his blocking in the center of the map. I took him to nowhere. I think I need a better outdoor map, I think, or something. I'm not really sure. I got to look at outdoor map choices and see what I can do for that one.
Monster Island.
Yeah, probably Monster Island, but
Real cool
so
map.
hey, in my case, yeah, I'm gonna play it. So if I'm gonna get Keaton, I'm gonna put you outside so I can shoot you from 8 away.
Do you know who else likes that map?
I know.
Pete and Book would
But-
like that map.
Yeah, well, in this case, it's worth it. So again,
Okay.
proper map choice for the proper opponent, sir.
All right.
There's nothing wrong with that map. He's just whining.
So he moves up because he doesn't really have a lot of reach because he has TK, but Ghost Rider's a peanut, and I didn't think he wanted to TK out Keaton. So he moves up to mid map. I move up to some hindering that I place because my team can basically stealth perma because I have Panther. Because if they're adjacent, they all get stealth or they get the Black Panther TA. So he comes in and swings. He misses one of the attacks, but I think I missed my rollout on Odin with one of the attacks because he has Ghost Rider. So I think I end up taking a hit and I go to mid dial. And then he kills Panther, unfortunately, and then I revive him. But apparently, even if he revives, he still gets knocked back, which I was not aware of that was the thing.
I was
When
not
he gets
either.
revived. Yeah, so that was news to me. Yeah, if you revive,
It's after resolution.
That's what I.
Or no, it's when he's KO'd, right? Is that
When he's,
how's Wonder Woman?
Wonder
worded?
Woman is when he's KO'd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman-
So yeah, that means yeah.
I didn't realize that because most of the things are after resolutions, but this is like hers is immediate. So so he ended up getting knocked away, which kind of sucked. But he did end up on his last click, which was actually kind of nice for me, or second to last click. Either way, it was like pretty solid. Or no, click 2 of his low dial. I think I was still on perplex, which was nice, which I was hoping to try to get to if I could kill Keaton. So then like even though Odin was low dial, or mid dial, I end up triple targeting, and I USB'd his Daredevil, his Keaton, and his other Daredevil, so I stripped off 35 points in one attack. And then Death Metal was my MVP. Like, she ended up getting to hit to her last click, but then Ghost Rider parked next to her thinking he was going to poison her next turn. She flurries, he misses the shape change. I roll the 10, proc Power Gem. It turns into a crit, so she does 6 damage because she has the +1 longsword. He goes to click 5, and then he misses the second shape change, and Ghost Rider's dead. And then I think Odin didn't live much longer, unfortunately, because once you get to those mid clicks, if I don't have like the Ravens to help buff him a little bit, which I couldn't because Keaton was there.
Yeah, he's the 9 attacks.
Yeah, the 10 attack, 9 attack was pretty rough. I missed my super senses, so I think he went to like one of his first couple clicks of like it's like char or running shot, quake, invul, and prob, and unfortunately he died. And I just had basically I think he also killed Shuri by this point, so I think I had just Panther and Death Metal, but Death Metal was like amazing that game. She was on her last click basically the rest of the game, and he again parks Keaton next to her thinking he can poison her, forgetting I had rivalry. So I hit him for 5 immediately because she's on her last click, which is a 12 for 4. And so he turns him to his 20 click. He's like, okay, well I'm a 20, and then I roll another 8 and just kill him. And then he starts to panic because I've already scored both of his Daredevils and a chunk of the rest of his team. Because yeah, Ghost Rider's dead, Juice is dead, both Daredevils have been scored, so it's just basically Predegaton and Kevin at this point, and points are tight. So he basically just like ran away from me. So Death Metal picks up the Dream Ruby and throws it at the Daredevils because they're the closest thing to her because they couldn't really get away. So I score 15 more points. So I've scored everything else that I physically can get besides Kevin and Predegaton. But he basically just kind of ran away from me at that point, and then time was called because I didn't have move and attack because I'm just on the. She has 0 range, and I'm on my flurry clicks on top click. So, but she was my MVP that game. It ended up being 220 to 240. He won, but he tells me, he's like, dude, after you killed Keaton, I was sweating. He was very nervous. And again, had I played that a little bit differently, because he Predegated my Shuri into the corner, so I couldn't TK out first turn, but I could have shot his blocking and just moved Shuri over, and that probably would have been a better strategy, because he didn't have any like real heavy reach without selling out a piece. So that would have probably benefited me more.
Yeah, he might have. I think he would have missed cut if he would have won too.
If I would have won, yeah.
Yeah, because what it says right here, he has 985 points, but that's including his 3 games of 105, 125, and 110, plus another 5. So yeah, he would have missed cut if he would have won.
Yeah, so it was.
And you would have made it in.
If I would have still lost by 5 points. Because even if I didn't flip the 2 gems, I would have been down 5 points. By that point I couldn't have killed. He just got away with Predegaton and Kevin. So it was just, that was the thing that really like screwed me at the end there. But it was just, that's how that goes. I don't have a mobile piece, and I can't really necessarily tie them down. Because Predegaton could just carry Kevin away. So it was tough, but it was. I mean, I actually really enjoyed that game. Like, I was just swinging for the fences at that point. So, and like I said, Death Metal was amazing. That last click, I'm never counting her out ever again, because that 12 for 5 or 13 for 5 is nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah, it sounds like a hell of a game.
Yeah, and it was fun. Honestly, I feel like I should have. Oh no, because every time I hit something, it was Mystic, so I would like heal and just immediately go back to stop. So, because like I said, I 2-tap Ghost Rider and then I 2-tapped Keaton, so it was a lot of like, well, I'm hitting and I'm healing, but I'm also hurting myself at the same time.
So that was, you said you went 3-2 then, right? With that
Yes.
game? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My last game in Swiss was against Dylan Casabam. He played Flash in the Jugs. That was Juggernaut at 80 points with the Crimson Gem, Kong at 50 points with the Avatar of Khonshu, Reverse Flash with the Trick Arrows, Chair Panther with Dream Ruby, Predegaton at 20 points, a 10-point Daredevil with the Bloodstone, and then 2 Time Breakers. His sideline was Fortify, Rivalry, Beetlejuice, Cathan, Khonshu, and Mimic. One of the cool things about his team that I liked was the Cathan on Daredevil. He actually purposely would take that first damage to put him on Perplex, so he would have a Perplex, which is nice because that's one of the things that I run into with my team also, is that I just don't have access to Perplex. So I thought that was kind of neat. But this one, though, this was the opposite of the match I had before with Dan, where the dice were just not in my favor, where in this case it was absolutely in my favor. So he came in with his Juggernaut. I forget if it was before or after I was able to delete his Kong with Beetle.
You rolled another.
So I did delete him,
5 or 6,
but I didn't
2 Kongs
need to.
in Swiss you delete?
So what I was able to do is I got I set it all up where I got my Harley into place because I wanted to be able to Nth Metal him so he couldn't use his stop clicks. So no matter what, I was going to be able to get rid of him. So I got my Pulse Wave off. It
feels better to roll 5 or 6.
Oh yeah, so I still rolled it, and I got the I think I got the 6 on it. It was either 5 or 6, but I think I got the 6 on it. So I was able to delete the Kong. Didn't need to, and it went through. So I went up on the 60 points right there. And then I didn't necessarily sell out because I was able to still protect myself pretty well in the middle. So his response back was Juggernaut, which he missed. He missed the attack, and he was only able to give a little bit of damage to a couple of my pieces with the rest of the 2 damage from being adjacent. And then he came in with his Reverse Flash on my Ulysses, and I needed the 6 on Senses, and I hit the 6 back-to-back on his Flurry with Flash. So that was pretty crazy right there. And so yeah, he just missed a bunch of attacks. I was doing really well with my rollouts and then my attacks, and so everything that I did just kind of worked in my favor, and everything that he tried to do just did not work. So it was still fun to play Dylan, though. That was the first time I got to play him, but I'm sure next time it'll be a little bit different. That was the end of Swiss, though. So that brings us to top 16. In top 16, I played Dan Dupois. This was a same exact build as the one that Dan played earlier. So double Captain Marvel with the motorcycles, and then Kevin with Avatar of Towerette. And this one, I feel like I was just given everything I could to pull this one off. And the whole game, I did not think I was going to take this one. So his turn one, he was able to bring us to Atlantis Throne Room, and in his turn one, he moved up enough that I was going to be able to hit one of the Captain Marvels with my Harley to Nth Meddler, and I wanted to take advantage of that and not give them the chance to, either one of them, to hit me first. So I went out, hit her with the Pulse Wave, and then had to bring in Blue Beetle for the turn off of power, and then also, let's see, what did I do? I turned off shape change, I think it was, or impervious. Oh yeah, and then I had to bring out, who's my other outwit? Chair Panther, I think. So I think I had to bring out Chair Panther.
Yeah, Chair Panther.
Yeah, Chair Panther to outwit the impervious, Blue Beetle to outwit, or to say that you can't use shape change. I came in and flurried with Ulysses, and then I was able to take out that Captain Marvel, I think, on my turn 3 or 4. And I also then brought my Daredevil to block his other Captain Marvel and Kevin, and try to poison Kevin. And he destroyed I think he outwitted the super senses on Daredevil, hit him pretty easily with the Captain Marvel, and took him out on his turn 2. And I dropped my universal weapon because of course I hit the 1, and so he wasn't immune. So the other Captain Marvel, I think, finished him off. I dropped my universal weapon, and I kind of needed that. So this was where I was getting outwitted by Kevin because he had Towerette on him. So I had this little time breaker run over to where the universal weapon was. I made another time breaker, and then I had him sidestep away with the universal weapon, and then equip it. And then I was, from then on, picking a power with him. I'd pick Pulse Wave and then roll with his 0 attack just to end the duration of Kevin's outwit. And then I ran him over to, after I did KO that first Captain Marvel, later on I ran over to the motorcycle, and then the next turn I picked Quake, and the time breaker quaked the motorcycle for another 15 points. And then, of course, I was not doing good with my Vibranium all game, or all day, I should say. And so mine got destroyed when I brought my Chair Panther up there. So I was out of Vibranium, and I needed my Harley to be able to go again with her Pulse Wave. So I ended up later on, again, choosing Quake. I brought him over to the Kevin he was next to the Vibranium and the phone booth. And so the little time breaker then quakes again and destroys the Vibranium for another 1 Vibranium on my sideline. And I was able to remove that, and so I could Pulse Wave again. And so I was throwing everything I could at him, and trying to pull out every trick. And I thought I still lost, and we were adding up points, and then I counted up. I was up by 10. We recounted, and I ended up taking it by 5 points in the end. So this was probably the craziest match, where I was just trying every single thing I could possible to take it, and it ended up going in my favor. So this one was 125 to 120. But yeah, that was
that's amazing though. Like when you have to throw everything at a kitchen sink and have the time breaker just putting in work.
Dude, that time breaker was clutch. He had
it's hilarious. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to.
Well, it just goes to show, though, man. You gotta clean up those points where you could.
And yeah. Yeah, no, and that's you're smart. Even though you knew you couldn't hit with the attack, you're still going pulse wave to end durations, and like that's one of the most important things about pulse wave. So you just have this little bug just going at it. That's you got to put him up there. He has to be just
Oh yeah, he was he was the MVP
in a
that
nice
game.
little state by himself.
Because I did lose my, I lost my beetle, I think, midway through the game. We got a ton of turns in, though, because I was making a tiebreaker every game, and I think I had like 8 or 9 by the end of it. So we had a ton of turns.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
But yeah, I just felt like I was just throwing everything I could at it. So when we added up points and I ended up taking it, I was very surprised. Then that brings us to top 8. So top 8, I played the eventual winner, Joe Harrison. So Joe Harrison played I'm the Ghost Rider, bitch. This is the Prime Colossus with the motorcycle, Ghost Rider with the Crimson Gem, Kevin with Avatar of Towerette, and then Legacy Panther with the +1 longsword, Predegaton, Timebreaker, and then the Lucas PJ and Scott Pog. Sideline was Fortify, Rivalry, Beetlejuice, Cathan, the Scarlet Witch Chase from Collector's Trove as the pilot, and then Towerette for the Avatar. So this one was a good match. He I think won role and allowed me to pick map, so I took us to the bunker, and I right in the beginning set up really poorly with where my Daredevil was, and that ended up being a huge part of what messed up with how I was able to set up my turn 2. So he didn't do much on his turn 1, and I just kind of set up to get some Vibranium and brought my Ulysses up. And then I kind of overextended to try to set up for my next turn, and I definitely shouldn't have, because I did not have my Daredevil, and I overplaced my Timebreakers. So he came in pretty hard with Ghost Rider and Colossus. He was able to take out both my Timebreakers and my Predegaton, and after that I couldn't change anyone's placement on next to Ghost Rider because we were like in a hallway, and there was just nothing I could really do to move anything around. So he picked up the phone booth on his turn 1. He did do that, and then that was a huge deal because even if you're getting pulse waved, you're still allowing the team around you to keep shape change because the phone booth is off the map. So nothing is turning off that what is it, form of pulse wave, that source of shape change. So he was able to keep it the whole time, no matter what I was using to attack. And I had a chance to delete his Ghost Rider. He missed his shape change, and I rolled the delete ray on Blue Beetle, and I got a 4. And then again, I was able to get a chance on Kevin. He missed his shape change, and I think I ended up even missing my attack on that one because it was on a 19, and I rolled 4 and 5 or something. So we had a good game. Just couldn't play it out the way that I wanted to, but it's always fun to play Joe. Good to see him there. And obviously he ended up doing well the rest of the rounds. I came in 8th place. Miles, do you want to take who came in 7th place, though? What team took 7th?
In 7th place, we have Brody Bobbledick with Pull Your Plants Up. Fellow plants player. Love to see it. And he has trees for the description of the team, which is spot on. It's a scientist theme. Prime Swamp Thing with Khonshu. Man Thing with Gaia. Man Thing with Nothing. Ivy with Trick Arrow. Iconics Ivy. Harley the Notorious Super Rare. And then Predegaton with Bloodstone. And then also the Nifty Traffic Barrel. And what's noticeable is that you can see that this is the team that Bookwood played, except better because he used Traffic Barrel. So good to see Brody showing Bookwood how to play plants.
I like to see it too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he had Amanda Waller, Keaton, Gaia, Khonshu, Mimic, and Poseidon on the sideline with Bloodstone Maze, Major Brock's Bunker, and Monster Island as the maps.
Yeah, I was sitting next to him for most of the day. He was doing really well. Sixth place was Dan Powell. We went over his team when I played him. Then fifth place was Devin Owens. Do you want to take this one, Pete?
Mr. Devin Owens played a team called Kevin and Elsa. It was an unthemed team. King Deadpool and Elsa Bloodstone with the Trick Arrows. Kevin with Avatar Tarret. Reverse Slash with a Crimson Gem. Spider-Man 034 from Black Panther with Mjolnir for free. And he also had Legacy Panther with the +1 longsword per Degaton. Legacy Daredevil with the Bloodstone. Another Legacy Daredevil with nothing. Timebreaker, Lucas, PJ, and Scott. And on his sideline, he had Fortify Rivalry Keaton, Gathan, Mimic, Tauret, and he did have the barrel.
He was doing really well all day. I kept seeing him close to, I think, table 1 or 2. So, yeah, he went 6-1. He only lost in the top. What would that have been? Top 8? Yeah?
Yeah, because we're
Yeah.
he lost in top 8.
So, yeah, he had a really good day, too. Then fourth place, moving on to top 4, was Nicholas Madison. He played 702 Collector. So this was the, I think, only Ultra Chase Collector that made top 16. He had the Universal Weapon.
Yeah, I think so.
It was, yeah. Universal Weapon, Trick Arrows, and the Crimson Gem. And then main force with him was Mern, Space Ghost, and Timebreaker. Sideline was Fortify, Rivalry, Soul Siphon, Ares, Beetlejuice, and Mimic. And then maps were Broxton, Oklahoma, Major Brock's Bunker, and the Mansion. So this one, he went 6-2 it looks like. So he did lose in Swiss earlier as well. But yeah, he had a really good day. What did you guys think about the weapons that he put on the Collector?
I liked it. I thought it was a little different. Universal Weapons. I mean, he already has a TKer with Space Ghost, so that made sense. As long as, obviously he didn't go against the Juice. Crimson Gem, given that improved movement, destroy blocking, I think is huge. As well as super strength. And then Trick Arrows obviously are great.
Yeah, most of the ones
it's different, but I mean, I think that it's really good.
This is a very offensive collector, and I dig it. So it's good.
Most of the ones that I played had the Prime Elsa on there to give the Trick Arrows after the time started.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Crimson Gem on them, yeah, really good play.
Yeah, it's a great too. It's a nice cosmic theme, and getting Mern with Collectors really, really good option. I think it's great.
Yeah, allowing him to see what the giant
the good
reach
thing
is
with
big.
him, if you give him theme, you're going to be able to go first. And so even if you're worried about your opponent choosing Keaton, bringing him out, you're at least turn 1 can have Space Ghost choose to. The same thing with Dan with bringing in the Ravens. With theme, you're going to have a better chance of having Space Ghost at least able to choose TK.
Yeah, exactly. Being able to just still pick something that first turn is big.
Yeah, because most teams are unthemed, and the win record, I believe, at this event was unthemed I think it was 60% of the time against theme.
Yeah, I still want to go over all those stats. I was not able to look at them yet, though. Did Bill put up a updated ELO or just some of the stats?
He's working on it. You're 31 currently.
Oh, that's nice.
Hopefully I climbed up a little bit. That'd be nice. But we'll see. We'll see where I land.
But yeah, he also had the ability to have Beetlejuice out, which was definitely helpful for him, just having the time breakers. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Third place was Matty G. Do you want to take this one, Miles?
Yes. Yep, so we have Matty G. The person who's currently tied on the ELO in first has actually had to break down to decimals because of how close our ELO is. That's awesome. He also played Collector, so I guess, no, we were wrong. There's more than one Collector
I guess so.
that made top 16.
There was 2 of them.
Yeah, he went unthemed. I believe this was his only loss. No, okay, he also lost in Swiss. But he had Collector with Motorcycle, Universal Weapon, and Captain America's Shield. which I think is interesting. I like that. It's another offensive choice because you give him the super senses with charge, so you're able to attack, differently. Black Chair Panther with +1 longsword. Also with the trick arrow, like you said, you also give him that trick arrow.
Yep.
Predagon and Timebreaker, and then he's got Fortify, Revelry, Ares, Beetlejuice, Chthon, and Mimic, and then the universal weapon with motorcycle is insane with Ares because you just choose blades, and then you get that charge, and he's got a 10 speed already, right?
Oh yeah.
8. So +2, so he'll be at 6 charge with Giant Reach 3 doing Ares Bomb. So
Yeah, it's pretty good.
this is another offensive. Oh, and he also had the nifty traffic barrel. I believe all top 8 have had the barrel, except for I think Dan, right? Because there wasn't the points.
That sounds right.
7th place, right? Or what?
Yeah, you're right. He didn't
Or
have
6th
the barrel.
place. Yeah. So it seems like, so far everyone in top 8 has had the barrel.
Yeah, the motorcycle universal weapon's a little bit closer to the collector's builds that I expected with Elsa Bloodstone giving him the trick arrows on turn 1. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, he's going for theme, though, and the West Coast, Mern sees a lot more play out here on the West Coast than other regions, which is weird. And so, yeah, that's 100% a West Coast theme with Mern.
I think it's cool to see the collector make 2 top 4 builds, though, for sure. That's one of the ones I thought was going to be doing pretty well. What do we got here? Top 2 now. So Rob Olger's team. Actually, you already went over this one, didn't you, Dan?
Yeah, because I played him my last round before cut. So.
Yeah. And then and I went over Joe Harrison's team. So they streamed this one too on the Dial H YouTube. So you can check this one out. This is a pretty good matchup. Joe ended up taking. Did they put a score on this one? Or no? 90 to 50.
90 to 5.
Or 90 to 5, I'm sorry.
Oh, it says 90 to 5.
Yeah, I meant 5, 90 to 5.
And Joe went undefeated the entire event, which is, insane.
Yeah, he had a killer day.
Yeah.
So congrats to Joe for the win and taking the 2025 300 Modern Championship or ChampionClix Open title. That was Saturday.
The second North Carolinian since Worlds that has won something big because we had Dylan win Worlds and then he just won ChampionClix. King of New Orleans, obviously not from North Carolina. So we got Adepticon and everything. So they're probably going to try and go for a clean sweep from Worlds to Worlds, see if North Carolina can take them all.
So that was Saturday. And then on Sunday was the team sealed. So we got the Spider-Verse set to build with. We did not have a great day. So we only played the 3 rounds of Swiss and then we were done. Dan, how did your guys' team go?
We made top 16, but then we lost in our cut match against Emily's team, which was her, Devin, Owens, and I apologize, but I do not remember their third. I just didn't get to meet him in person, so I didn't get the name. But, so I played against Devin, Dalton played Emily, and I believe Looper played their third. So, unfortunately, we didn't make it. So Devin, specifically, Devin and I's match was, I had the alpha with because I had TK and Firestar, and then he had Spider.
So, what was your team?
My team was Moreland with the glider, and I put it on willpower and blades, and then it was Firestar. I had Norman Osborn for TK, and then what else did I have? I had a red symbiote, and then there's something else. I had the Scarlet Spider, which he actually came up big in my game against Devin because Devin didn't have Outwit and he just never died because I just kept hitting senses every turn for the most part. And then I also had free regen every time he did take damage. So he was just basically rotating between mid clicks and top click the whole time. But what happened was I TK'd up and I just couldn't hit. I think I rolled a 5 on my alpha with Firestar. Otherwise I was going to hit things and probably do damage with her energy explosion precision strike, and I just couldn't hit anything the first half of the game. I did catch back up. I think our game was 210 to 200 or something, or 220 to 210 when I ended up losing. But yeah, it was just tough. Unfortunately, all three of us lost the final round. So
What did you guys build with your brick? The,
so we got Chase Gauntlet Spidey. So Dalton played that, and he played like a Spider-Man family theme, and then Looper also played Spider-Man family theme, but he had the Paviter Yo-Yo Spider, which is pretty dope because he can kill box things, and then he can also give you Safeguard, Pulse Wave, and Energy Explosion. And he had the Spider Bites, or yeah, so he had the common and then the uncommon, and then a couple other things. And then I know Dalton played Gauntlet Spidey, and I can't remember what Dalton really had on his team, but they were both Spider-Man family themes. So and then I basically built with the rest. So but we didn't actually use our super rares because we had Paviter, which was good, but our other two super rares were the Wall and Silvermane. So and we didn't get.
Wait, you said your super rares weren't good, and then you said that you pulled the wall.
and
Like that
Silverman.
does not
awesome.
compute for me at all. Yeah, but or the wall. Like the wall is a must play at 25 points.
I guess
I don't
that's
know, you're
fair.
insane.
I guess it didn't work with the rest
Give
of what
him
we
the
had.
glider.
Brick. We pulled the glider.
A
which was
flying
great.
wall.
That-
Yeah, no, the flying wall. You would have made top 8 at least if you would have gave the wall the glider.
Well, I'm just not as good as you, Miles. Okay.
No, it's just it's not that you're not good as me. It's just that you just slept on the wall that can fly.
I guess that's fair. I probably could have put him on my team, but it might have been better than the symbiote. But I felt like the symbiote for 15 was just really good because the poison and being able to just get carried over with Moreland and just tie up a whole team with plasticity was too good most times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but we at least made.
Yeah, I just like the wall as blocking fire lines of fire.
No, that's really good. Like I don't dismiss that at all. That's very good. It was just one of those where we were just trying to team build and.
Yeah.
Like I didn't.
It was
think,
a meme, 100%.
Like Silvermane isn't that good in sealed, so
Except
at least
he's
compared
amazing.
to like I don't know. He just did not play out that well.
Wait, but look at Silvermane has Mastermind, and you Mastermind to the wall, who takes a maximum of 1 damage from attacks.
Yeah,
That's 4 attacks.
I get that. So
Yeah,
that
that's
I don't know. I'm just like this is what we had. So, but I mean,
I blame Looper. No, this is all on Looper because Looper refused to play the wall in Silvermane, so he's not getting the shit. Yeah.
Well, I probably could have played the wall because my team was just the remnants. Like I played 2 rares, and then the other stuff.
But you're going to figures that were your play style. That's why I'm saying that we're blaming Looper.
I can't blame Looper. Looper's good people, so I can't blame Looper.
He's not on here to defend himself, so we're blaming Looper.
I will defend him for him. So.
Are you sure that he didn't play Silvermane? I could have sworn he said he did.
No, he didn't. He didn't play Silvermane. No.
Okay, unless that was maybe in a BR he was talking about. I thought he said he played him.
I think he may have played him in a BR, but I don't know. We didn't end up using those 2 super rares out of our brick. And like I said, like Gauntlet Spidey's like kind of like a midline. Like he's okay, but he's like not the best chase you could pull, obviously. So.
We got Chase Craven in our brick and no prime. We also got a glider, so I put a glider on him and then also had a black symbiote. So I would always give out the black symbiote to also give him the shape change, steel energy, super strength, which was nice. But I did not get leadership on my team and nobody had willpower. So the only game where somebody had the Spider-Man TA so that Craven could actually like flurry exploit, get all his pluses and everything was in my first match. Otherwise, round 2 and round 3 in a Spider-Man set, nobody that I played had a Spider-Man TA team ability.
You were playing like a mismatch team then.
Yeah, it was crazy to how that worked out. But then it's like it's hard because between rollouts and you miss your attack, then you get 2 chances of that, then you have to sit there. So it was pretty hard to play some of these pieces or against some of these teams. But yeah,
my team was like I don't know if we had another form of TK because I think they were both using the Ghost or Gwen that had the TK, like the sidestep TK.
That's the big one.
Yeah, so like I used Norman instead, and unfortunately, like he didn't share any keywords with anybody on my team really, so I couldn't make use of the +2 range because that would have been bonkers. But it was just like, well, it was worth it. But that's why I put you could have put the willpower bike or the willpower glider option on what's his name, on Craven instead.
Yeah, I put it on the precision strike though, just because the Spidey set, you want those super senses.
I just figured since you were starting with precision, you might like that would be an option, considering you said you didn't have leadership. But that was the other thing, was like I had 2 leaderships on my team. I had a willpower, and then I had, what was it? I had enough things where I felt like I could keep tempo, going, versus that was that's tough when you only have the 3 actions.
And then I also
So how
had,
much in person does it actually look like Drew McIntyre? The
What's
Craven
that?
chase.
Looks like who?
How much in person does it look like Drew McIntyre? Because that does not look like Craven.
It does. It does. I have it in front of me. You're right. Actually, it pretty much does. Honestly, it's a little weird. But he's great though. Like I played him in my BR when I won him, and he's amazing. So.
Yeah, we just the matchups that I got, he wasn't able to kind of be full power because of the 2 matchups. I was very surprised. Did not go against with anyone at the Spider-Man TA, which was crazy. Mm-hmm. But I did not put it on the precision strike one. Sorry, I did.
You did energy explosion and plus 2 speed.
Yeah. No, I did put it on. I'm sorry, I did put it on precision strike.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say precision strike and reflexes. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I had the reflexes then. That was the thing. But then we did not have a great day. We did put the Spider-Punk with Norman though, so Oliver was able to. He wanted Spider-Punk. He hit some crazy BRs with Spider-Punk. That's all he wanted was Spider-Punk. So we absolutely gave him Spider-Punk. And we gave him Norman also for the TK, and then he was doing 6-range pulse wave for 2 damage.
Because they share politician. Top 32 worlds.
Top 32 worlds. Dude, politicians for real. Now it's gonna be in pulp. Ooh, yeah.
So I think Oliver almost won I think it was his last game, and then he lost it on last action, and Christine was able to take one of her games too. But yeah, not our day for Team Sealed. Winners for that event were Mike Reardon, Jonathan Nolf, and Brian. So congrats to those guys. But yeah, we had a blast there. We'll definitely be back next year. Dan, what about you?
Oh, 100%. Like, that was so much fun. Like, I mean, I got lucky. I got 2 free BRs because Skynet, so appreciate you, Harris. And I was able to win a Craven Chase and some other goodies, so not bad.
And then, Pete, we might see you there next year for the first time?
I'm really hoping to. It's on my things to figure out how to make happen next year list.
All right. Miles, what about you?
I'm gonna try, but yeah, it's really hard for me to, especially like after Christmas and all the kids. So it's really hard to try and get it because I have to buy everything like in advance and stuff.
I will put a savings fund for you and try to get you out there for it if I can.
I know I gotta start doing that. I need to start putting money into my savings fund. Need to start doing that. Say sorry, kids, you're not going to college. I'm going to ChampionClix.
They'll understand. All right, but yeah, awesome events.
I think so too.
We were happy to be there, and we'll be back next year. But let's get into our listener questions.
Your ass better call somebody!
All right, first one is from Konstantin Savitsky. So he asks, or says, thanks for spending so much time on my question last week. It was great to listen to. Not a problem, Konstantin. Thanks for writing us each week. Have we heard anything from Aaron on any Silver Age updates or States tournaments? We were able to talk to him a little bit before, and he did say that discussions for Silver have just started back up, so hopefully there's an update soon. I'll definitely be ready to shift gears into Silver after Adepticon, though. Where are you guys on Silver right now?
Yeah, no, it's Adepticon. We got like two weeks. Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's
a lot of prep time needs for that.
We got to go all in on Modern.
Yeah, it's more Modern.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't make it to Rock Cup just because that's like the one weekend in May that I just wasn't able to make. So, but I still love building silver. So,
Pete, are you looking at any silver right now, or are you holding off until after Adepticon too?
No, I'm pretty focused on modern right now until after Adepticon. I mean, I always have some terrible ideas in silver I'm messing with.
And modern.
Or I look at a modern piece and think, oh, absolutely modern. Or I look at a modern piece and I say to myself, how can I make that even worse and play it in silver? So, yeah.
And when you say worse, you actually mean like less tolerable, not that you're going to play like a bad piece, right?
No, I just mean make the piece worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we have David Newmark. What was Oliver's favorite part of the trip or event? Oliver loved the whole trip. He was just like in an 11 from Wednesday morning until we left, or when we did leave until we came home on Monday afternoon. His favorite event, though, definitely the BRs. He could do those just all day. I think, Dan, you saw him running around just going from BR to BR and person to person. He made a lot of new friends.
Yeah, for some reason, on Friday, you asked me to babysit, and I was like, sure.
Yes, you did not babysit. You just kept an eye on him until BR started. Babysit.
You don't babysit him. Yeah, it's just like, all right, just let him do his own thing.
Dan like he did something significant by just keeping him in one general area.
Yeah.
Oliver's fine.
No, that was all in jest. You actually take me way too seriously. No, he was so excited, and like every chance he got, he'd come over and be like, "Hey, this is what happened in my PR," and I'm just like, "I love how excited you are. This is so great." Like that kid's so positive that like even if I was like mildly down at all, or just like not at like all the way ramped up, he's like, "I'm just gonna bring you up here with me." It's just great.
Dan, what you have to do with Miles and I is babysitting.
Yes, that's fair. That is very fair.
And then he also asked, how confident were you going into the event with your 300 modern team? My favorite way to prepare for events is practice locally with ideas until I find something I like, and then kind of continue to tweak it based off of what I feel like I needed to do in the last event, but I couldn't, or like any weaknesses I saw. And then if there's new things that come out, just deciding if I can make my team any stronger, stuff like that. And just kind of going through any of the events and seeing like what I played, or knowing I have an answer for that later. So with that being said, I was pretty confident that I'd make cut at the very least, just with what I've been running, because I was able to practice a decent amount finally. But I feel like I usually make cut at events. So I don't know why there was a big surprise on me making cut at this one. Originally, though, I was thinking about
because of what happened in teams the day before, where it was just the alphabet, which is just another monster.
That was rough. But I still went 4-1 on that. Originally, though, I was thinking about totally changing it up for Adepticon, but the team felt good, so I just need to tweak it, and then I'll have more answers for Ghost Rider. I think that's really the big thing is being able to just shift gears for what might change. All right, then we have Jocelyn Brewmeister. I'd love to hear from Oliver and Christine their thoughts on the event. Jocelyn, we're actually going to do a full event recap with the three of us for YouTube later this week. So both Oliver and Christine will be going into detail about the trip. And then I'll post a link once I get that all done and up. But they both had a blast and they're excited to do the video. And McConnell Lamar, hey guys, I hope you had a great trip. What is the most interesting team you faced in 300 Modern? When we were going through them, I thought it was Matt Ventura's Wakanda team, though. I thought that was very well built and just a little bit out of the box, too, just mostly using Wakanda keyword. I just think that my team countered his really well with the way that I had Blue Beetle set up. What about you, Dan?
It was a viewfinder. That's how you were able to counter. That's just that. It's crazy how much that helped.
Yeah, it was big.
I think so. Like I ran up against like what I would consider like very cookie cutter teams for the most part. Except for obviously the main force Keaton team, which was like out of the box. But yeah, I think that's probably the most creative team was that team, honestly. That was That was really interesting. I was like, oh, okay.
Miles, what about the ones that we went over? What would you say was the most interesting?
The most interesting, um, I'd have to say Rob's. Even though like I hate Keaton, playing him main force is a Chad move. So
He made it work.
yeah,
That was the thing, was he made
yeah.
it work.
I do
So
love the Wakanda team though, because that's very similar to the build that I had when I was gonna make Wakanda forever.
Yeah, I think we had that name too.
So it was
But
really
the Smoke Cloud was a neat addition in giving out the Wakanda team ability.
yeah.
which one was doing? Oh, so which one was doing that? Which one was giving out the smoke cloud?
Who was doing Smoke Cloud?
Yeah,
I would have to look back at the team.
nobody actually has it unless you're using it with the universal weapon with Black Panther.
Maybe that was it then.
Okay, because I'm trying to see, because I know that if you're next to the regular super rare, you get the Black Panther TA.
Yeah, no, the smoke cloud it's now it's like with the Wakanda team ability and giving universal weapon to Legacy Panther, like you
Yeah.
can give him TK to help an alpha,
Yeah,
or give him smoke cloud. He's like, I'll take this action because it's gonna give my entire team stealth. So yeah, it was a smart play there.
no, that's good. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely part of the tactic, was giving out that team ability. So he probably just picked Smoke Cloud then with the universal weapon.
I mean, that's what I was doing. I was doing the same thing with the regular super rare, and I had everybody adjacent, so like Death Metal and Shuri, or like Death Metal and Odin got stealth, which was great.
Pete, what about you? Did you think any of the teams were interesting?
I really like Nicholas Madison's version of the collector. I just think that piece is so. I think that's one that's just starting to get going, especially with the equipment. I think when that rolls into silver season, that piece is going to see a huge amount of play.
Yeah.
But I liked his version a lot. I like building themes, so seeing stuff even on something as simple as a cosmic theme, especially in modern. Cosmic's not great right now. In modern, it's picking up a little bit, but it hasn't been where it's been in the past.
Right.
So that's very cool to see.
And then, what are your thoughts on Spider-Verse for sealed play? So far, with my experiences with not a ton of Outwit, Battle Fury, Precision Strike, the rollouts have been a little frustrating. We definitely needed a little bit more prob in the set because, no prob and just missing attacks and then having your opponent hitting the rollouts. It's kind of just been the story of how most sealed games have gone on my end.
I mean, everybody knows how I feel about it, so I think my stance is pretty obvious. I really like the set for sealed.
Sure you do.
I haven't had a chance to play it, but just looking at the figures, it's nice that we don't have some stupid power common for 300 points that can just beat everything. So it's a dice game, so rollouts are going to be a thing, and I'm totally fine with that.
And like there's a couple answers in the set, and I like that they're in the rare slot, like Spider Punk and Firestar, because Pulse Wave and Precision Strike with Energy Explosion. So, and honestly, I will say Norman is underrated because he gives Precision Strike to anybody that's either 30 points or less, or has a Syndicate keyword. So that's pretty big for 35 points.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts making teams.
In silver, the Awk arms are now going to have Precision Strike for what it's worth.
That's great. Pete, what about your sealed play experiences? I know you've done a pre-release and release day.
Yeah, I've had fun with it. I haven't pulled great at all. I mean, I'm seriously have not had one thing above a rare, but I didn't feel like either team was terrible. The first team was a fun Spider-Man family and managed to get some good luck, and the second team I felt more confident in, and it played perfectly fine. It's just, sometimes the dice go some ways and the dice go the other. I've really enjoyed the set and sealed. I think it's really well designed. I think the lack of the power common is huge. But I don't have any complaints about sealed for this set. Much, much better than Collector's Trove.
Yeah, I've had more fun with this one for sure than Collector's Trove.
And not for nothing, all the rares are really good. So like, even if you don't pull super well, like you got good rares in like Spider-Man, Spider-Punk, Firestar, even Spider-Man UK. Morland's a monster if you can get him going. So
Yeah, there's plenty to pick from. You're going to be able to play something. I think some of the stuff is it lacks a little bit of movement attack, and there is not as much wall crawler as I thought there was going to be initially, which surprised me on a lot of the pieces. And then his last question is, what are your thoughts on the updates to the comp? So far, I'm actually liking what I've read so far. The biggest one for me that we were talking about before is that there's no unequipped drop or unequipped KO for equipment. So my Mandarin rings don't disappear in our big games anymore. But the change to first turn immunity kind of makes it easier to explain what it is and how it works. So I think that's honestly fine. And then the bystanders gaining the keywords of people who generate them. I don't think that that's as big of an issue. I think it's going to lead to some cooler interactions. There might be some crazy stuff in silver, but most of what we've come up with when we were talking, it's just problem pieces already that need to be addressed.
I'm going to be on
my only like main concern I think is the bystanders. I think they're abusable in silver, but the first turn immunity, I wish it was just starting force, because now they can bring out juice on turn 1 and not have to worry about it. Whereas if it was just a starting force, if they want to bring him out turn 1, then your opponent can go and alpha him.
Doesn't it say beginning of game?
No. It says if they're the character they're starting square. So wherever they start. That will be where it happens.
That's not where he would start the game, because he's coming in from outside the game during first turn, so he still wouldn't have FTI.
Let's see. Did I misread that? It just says after the beginning of the game phase and until each player has finished their first turn, characters have immune key phrase unless they are not occupying a square in their starting area or the squares they started the game on. So that would technically be where Beetlejuice would start the game.
He's not starting the game though.
Exactly. You're having to take 3 power actions.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so he's not starting. Okay, yeah, it's not. But only, yeah.
The only way you do that is if you actually get him in your starting area. So, and I don't even think that's right. I still think he still wouldn't have FTI. So.
Yeah, it says until they finish their first turn, characters have the immune key phrase unless they are not occupying a square in their starting area.
Okay, so as long as he's not in your starting area, he's still perfectly capable of attacking him.
Yeah.
So that was the thing that I don't like, was that you can go out and get the phone booth and walk it back to your starting area and then just be like,
that's just
that part I don't really like.
I think the main problem too is because of when you actually look at the numbers, how first player is winning 60% of the time. It's even higher in cut. And so now it's like as if they needed more of an advantage. It does help some instances, especially in silver for swap, or in the modern for that. But yeah, I think that it does make it a lot easier to understand. But from a competitive scene, it's just like really, break first turn immunity, except you're not by grabbing, the phone booth. You're not going to break it to grab the barrel because you don't want the barrel close to your starting area. You want it to stop your opponent from getting to you.
Yeah, but you also don't want it to get nuked. I know plenty of people that hate when I play the barrel, and that's the first thing that they send their team to go get because it's got to be 5 squares away. I'll go get that first turn every time.
Yeah.
Pete, did you get a chance to look at any of the new changes to the comp?
I'm anxious to see what happens with the bystanders. I think it's going to be more of a thing in silver. But it's like you said, I think most of the problem pieces we all know about anyway. I'm anxious to hear the upcoming changes to silver and talk to Uncle Aaron about it. Overall, I don't, being able to really break first turn immunity and then be like, just kidding, I didn't break first turn immunity because I wanted to go grab something, like my phone booth, is kind of a little strange to me, but we'll see how it plays out. It almost kind of reminds me of like the classic like TK or sidestep dance to equip your characters.
Yeah.
That like you used to have to build, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminds me of, but I don't know. I'm gonna avoid the sky is falling hero click, the normal hero clicks thing that comes with any rules changes. So
I don't think it's nearly the big deal that some people are making it out to be.
No, the bystander one though is the one that I'm like, wow, they must really hate silver. But it's fine. It's like No,
It could be
it's
not. It could also be not fun, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, going to Maddie G. Thoughts on how fantastic the prizing was compared to WizKids HeroClix own events. Honestly, ChampionClix Open is just top notch. So prizing was amazing. I didn't even remember what it was going to be, but usually I'm here to compete and see friends. Like the 2v2, we ended up getting top 16 prizing. Wasn't even expecting anything. And then the participation prizing for all three events pretty much covered the entry already. And
Exactly,
then like top 8 for modern, I got a brick, which I didn't even mention this, but so we got a brick and then a bunch of LEs and a bunch of Bago whatevers. And the brick that I opened actually had Ultra Chase Collector, the Chase Scarlet Witch, Beta Ray Bill, Ulysses Bloodstone, and Ronin. So yeah, it was a crazy brick for getting top 8. But then just tons of LEs all weekend. I'm not even a big fan of BRs, but full brick BRs are definitely the way to go. I think I mentioned that before. Like even if you lose, like you're still getting a ton of stuff. So it's the prizing is just like top notch there.
Because like if you don't pull the chase out of all them boosters, it's a gamble, but you can maybe get it out of those 4 boosters that are left over that are sitting in the pile for prizing. So
yeah.
It looked incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, just following it online, just like and reading and stuff, like it just looked incredible.
And then, which do you prefer, product, trophies, plaques, or a combination for prizing? I like getting like a smaller thing to remember it, like the trophy or a plaque or something like that with the event and the place engraved in it or whatever. But I think product is still like the nicest thing to get. If I could specifically choose product though, I'd like to see more brand new LEs debuting as prizes at some of these bigger events. But I will say Adepticon is looking like WizKids' best prized out event, so I'm hoping that continues.
nice. Yeah, I like a little bit of both, honestly. It's just nice to have something that's like, hey, look, I was in this event and I actually placed well. So
Even if it's top 3, top 4,
Yeah.
whatever.
Or 9th place, you know.
Prizing and championship belts.
Oh, championship belts.
Don't give me a trophy.
Fair.
Don't give me a plaque.
No,
Give
fixed
me
belts.
a big badass belt that I will hang on my wall of my basement in a place of honor.
If Triple H and Tony Khan, can give like, people sports their belts. I mean, I think, especially with it being in Florida, I think Newmark can pull some strings, and I think Tony Khan can present the winner of ChampionClix with a custom belt for AEW.
That's a big ask.
I mean, if anyone can do it, it's him. Him and Scott, they got pull.
What's your preference though between product, trophies, combination?
Product. I mean, I know trophies and everything are cool and plaques and whatnot, but with me, with how much spending it, especially with me having to travel for these events, even like locally, product. Just because like if I want to flip it, I can. If not, I don't have to. But I prefer a good chunk of product over just like it's like, oh yeah, we're paying $50 for entry fee, and first place gets 5 boosters, and here's a custom wood burned plaque.
I will say too that House Rules Gaming did have a lot of stuff for sale, and they were giving things for like a really good deal down there too. So that was also like very appetizing. Is like, hey, I didn't really want to play any more BRs because they were expensive. I mean, they're $50 a crack. So I was like, I'm sure Redmond can tell you that racks up.
The BRs were $50 each.
But it's the full brick. So because you're getting the full brick, and then you're getting other prizing. Like he threw 2 LEs out there, and it was usually one of the newer ones, like Switch or Black Adam, and then you're getting other stuff. So like it was worth it. A
full table would get a brick, so a full table would do like 4 games then.
No, you would do 1 game, but it's the 4 boosters, and then the other 4 are in prizing, and then you have the con LEs and stuff there on top.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense then. Okay. Yeah. If the entire brick is part of the prizing, that makes sense.
Yeah, you get a quarter or a third of it because it's the 4 boosters. So.
All right. So this is how it breaks down. Each player gets 2 boosters. So that is 8 of the 12. And originally you were just you'd pick one from each booster and then you'd pass. So you would end with a 10-person team. But then after that, they changed to 5. But there were basically 8 boosters in the Battle Royale and then 4 boosters for prizing. And you could pick one of those boosters as one of your options. And then
Okay, yeah, no, that makes more sense than if it's 2 boosters per person. Totally makes sense at $50 a pop, but yeah.
Yeah, so it was worth it, but it was nice like that they had stuff for sale. Like I picked up a couple play at home kits. I picked up the Wakanda 400. So like they had stuff for really like reasonable prices, which was awesome. So like they had the whole thing set up really well, and it was really really well run overall.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Maddie's last question, thoughts on the hotel and the location. So we've been to every version of the ChampionClix Open. This one I think was one of the top locations though. It felt nice, but it was also really easy just to get around, both the resort and nearby a lot of other areas. Just close enough to the airport. So my only venue complaint I think was that there was just no hot water on Sunday. That was rough.
Yeah, cold shower was kind of pain. But
yeah, the rest of it was nice.
I think, yeah, I really liked the location. The hotel, like the room itself was comfy, like bed was comfortable. Like I don't have any complaints there. Like it's the resort, so I think just some of their food prices were a little bonkers, but that was like the only thing. I think my only like minor constructive criticism was just could I just have more water available to drink, because like going all day with like the fountain or like the big, like, what do you call it, like bottle they basically had with the cups ran out like midday, so just I had to go like try to run and get water between rounds, and that was kind of rough. So that was my only like minor complaint, is that I just would like more water to just make sure I stay hydrated all day.
I didn't see it run out. It run out every day?
Yeah.
I missed that. All right, and then Maddie's fourth question is, why should WizKids HeroClix go back to dice and token packs and chase and prime sets over chase boosters? Miles, what are you thinking about this?
If they keep doing the bystander things, and if they're able to put them like in a legacy card and play at home kits and all that, 100%. Dice and token packs can also be randomized, sort of like the boosters. You can have the dice, and then you can have it almost be a blind booster in front of the bystanders, to where you're not going to have people like going through because they want specific ones. Chase and prime sets too over chase boosters, because the chase boosters, they're meant for prizing, but if you look at it, I can probably say that more than half of them that are supposed to be used for local prizing is being sold.
Well, if you go on eBay, all of the like listings for the most part are all stores just selling them.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Yeah. So what the entire point of them using it for product for events is completely defeated the purpose of it, because you're allowing stores to sell it. And there's some stores that only get 2, and those stores would rather, open them. There's some stores that have employees that run it that play ChampionClix, and they'll keep them for themselves, run the stores. So it's really not as many are being played for as they think. Most of the chase boosters that are being won are at WizKids official events, these bigger events. And the dice and token packs, I think, is the best call, because I think doing the 16 is totally fine. You're gonna have 8 tokens, which is instead of the normal 6 from dice and token packs. So you can have it with the dice, and then you can have like a cover to where it's gonna be a blind pack of tokens. And realistically, you'll be making more money off of that than you would with the chase boosters, because if you look at it, just I think we did it, and I think there's, like, if the math is right, if there's 1,000 chase boosters, there's only 100, and that's a rough number. At most, with 1,000 chase boosters, there's gonna be like 160 of each bystander, and I think that more people would buy multiple dice and token packs. I think you would sell a lot more than you would have chase boosters, and the bottom line of the money would being made because WizKids is a company, and this is why I said that. They say why make billions when we can make millions, which obviously it's not literal billions, but the dice and token packs would 100% sell. You could even use those as prizing for events. You know, you can sell them for 25, and then a local event or something like people that are trying to get their own local can buy those or whatever and like use them as prizing, and like release day events, you know, where you have like sometimes you win the legacy, the dice and token pack. Like people would be stoked. First place would choose a dice and token pack because they don't play for the chase booster for the chases.
No, you play the chase boosters for the bystanders.
I mean, yeah, you can look at the most recent, the Spider-Man like bystanders. Like they're wanting top dollar chases, and they're getting it because you're seeing people PM to message them on Facebook, and it's like there should be no world where a bystander is the most expensive thing in the set.
No, that should never be a thing.
We had a local player that was able to find a store that was selling them, and he had purchased 6 or 7 chase boosters before the set for Spider-Man. And I don't blame him. I thought it was smart of him to do it. But it's a great idea. They're keeping stuff in the chase boosters that's not in the set, I think, is the biggest problem. Other than that, I don't have a real problem with it. Like, the Pogs should be in the set. That's the simplest answer.
Yeah, it just comes down to availability. I like the idea of the chase boosters as prizing, though. It's kind of a neat addition, but the issue is just availability on the bystanders.
Yeah, I mean, I like the chase boosters in concept for prizing. I do, like, they're very interesting. I do think my one gripe about them is I don't think there should ever be just a regular rare in there. It should either be the rare prime should be the lowest, and then it should be super rares, super primes, and chases, and that's it, as far as figures are concerned.
Yeah, the rarity should be higher. Dylan Barrett asks, where is a breakdown of how your monthly games work? I want to start running one. Dylan, we're actually going to do a YouTube video pretty soon. I do have written out the rules from kind of like our season 1 on our Facebook page, but I need to update that, and then we're going to do a YouTube video that kind of shows a lot more in detail of how they work. But yeah, very cool to hear that because they are a lot of fun. Moving on to Matt Zielinski. When building a team for a tournament, how many turns do you plan for? I know if I don't get 5 turns, I'm not happy. I also feel like for the majority, I play pretty fast because if I can take a fast turn, there's a better chance that I'll get more turns in. I'm thinking about my turn pretty much the whole time that my opponent is taking theirs. So I would say about 4 to 5 because some games you kind of don't know how the attack back after the way the opponent's turn goes. It's not always easy to predict that, but usually I can keep the games going pretty fast, and we get a good, sometimes even 8-ish turns in. I know some people try to control the pace by slowing it down, but I really want those turns to keep coming.
I would say that I would, like, minimum 4 turns. You're maybe getting 6 or 7, but I plan 4 to 5. But I play quick too. Like, I want to play. I want to see dice at the table. I want to see people make decisions. I'm not interested in not doing that. So I'll be a pretty quick player too.
Miles, did you answer this one?
No. So when I'm prepping for a team, I try and figure out my first 2 turns because you always want to try and figure out how you're going to be able to attack them, and then a retaliation turn is usually pretty good. So I'm usually prepped for about 3 turns. And then after that, it's winging it based off of where the game state is. Because it's hard to play test a game state. So I practice a lot of scenarios for different turns and like what I would do if put into this position. So it's usually about 4 to 5 turns. I think that I have it fully prepped for different scenarios. And most of the time, I'm usually correct with what I think the scenarios are going to be. But, I mean, it's a dice game, so those scenarios can change real quick.
Yeah, I feel like I can get through 3 turns relatively easy with not losing any pieces, and if I see the opportunity, I'll go for it. So my first 3 turns, I think, are relatively planned out.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking. Yeah, because you're either getting alpha'd or
I don't like
alpha-ed.
overextending.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like overextending. So.
Oh, I don't either, but I'm usually thinking about how the first 3 turns are going to go.
Oh yeah.
Jeff Dumas, what does Ryan have against DC?
Dang, calling you out.
I really don't have anything against DC as a whole. I just prefer Marvel. That's what got me into comics and superheroes. I like a lot of DC characters. I don't like Superman. He's kind of like that kid at recess, in grade school, and he just would be like, I have all the powers. And I don't like his costume either. It's lame. But there's a ton of really cool
I will
DC
tell you
characters.
exactly why I actually enjoy Marvel more than DC as well, and that's because you hit the nail on the head right there. It's DC is those kids that always have the powers and everything, whereas Marvel back in the Bronze Age especially really, really went towards storytelling and geared more towards adults, and it wasn't until after Marvel did, except for maybe a few stuck in here or there, where DC really started going with the adults, because it wasn't until like the Dark Knight Returns when DC finally started in Swamp Thing with Alan Moore and everything. Because before that, it's garbage storytelling. I guess Marv Wolfman and George Perez with Teen Titans would have been the first, so 1980, whereas Marvel was doing it all the way in the early 60s, starting with Fantastic Four, of not really gearing it towards kids. So that's why Marvel's better.
But my main guy right now is the Prime Blue Beetle, so I definitely don't hate DC. It's just I like a lot more of Marvel. Pete, what do you lean towards?
I go back and forth. So my comics reading, I'm a voracious comics reader. It's actually, if I'm not doing HeroClix, it's probably my number one other hobby. So I generally read digitally now, though. So 1 year I'll do, it's actually coming up for renewal, which reminds me. 1 year I'll do the DC app, and then the next year I'll do Marvel. That way there's always something new to read. And then I have my old favorites from both. There's certain stories that I've read, oh man, so many times just because they're just so phenomenal. So yeah, if you asked me to pick one,
Yep,
it would probably be Marvel.
Yeah.
But not by much. I mean, honestly, not by much. There's some great, iconic DC stories. And Superman is like the quintessential superhero, but I get the complaint about his powers. Like, he's always the answer in the story. So he's either immediately eliminated somehow or the answer in the story. Or Batman is. Batman is just the Deus Ex Machina of every DC thing known to man.
That is pretty true.
That's the problem right there. Right there is that,
like, some of their best storytelling is when they aren't focused on like Superman or Batman. That's why I really like Deceased, because it was very like Superman became a zombie and so did Batman. So it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, Deceased was great. The recent run with the vampires has been really super fun.
Was that DC too? Because Marvel
Yeah.
did that. Okay.
Yeah, DC's doing it right now too.
Okay.
So, and there's just some amazing, like, the Vertigo line from DC. Oh man, like some of the greatest comics of all time come out of that line.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I was saying why Marvel I think is better as a whole is because if you look at like Silver Age Marvel compared to Silver Age DC, it's not even close.
I actually got
Nowadays it's a lot closer.
Well, I actually got introduced to comics through like TV. Was I started watching? So I actually like as a kid I watched, I think Justice League Unlimited was the first thing that I watched, and then I drifted into comics.
You just made me feel so old. You said when you were a kid you watched that. No,
I know.
X-Men the animated series is what you watched when you were a kid.
Yeah.
I did not, unfortunately. That was not till later.
And then, Batman the animated series.
Oh no, because I pivoted to Spider-Man the animated series after
Okay, I'll take that answer.
Yeah. And that one was really good, and that's how I got into Marvel, was after that. So so I would say Marvel just because it's more of things I consume overall, but I still enjoy DC Comics, and I love like some of the Justice League Dark stuff that they do, or some of the other like offshoot things they do. But yeah, I definitely I read more Marvel than DC.
Well, we've officially derailed the podcast. And this is a great question. And Redmond does hate DC. You're 100% right.
I don't hate DC.
He's got a T-shirt that says, "You know what I hate," and on the back it says DC
Superman.
Comics. I've seen it. Yeah, it does. So I like of the age group where you didn't openly admit you liked comics
Yes.
in school because
Yeah, I was. Oh no, I
it
was
was
still that because
bad.
that was before it was cool. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. And so I remember very vividly in good old Mr. Stacy's class in 7th grade, we had to start to do public speaking in our science class. And so you had to put forth a presentation about something that other people wouldn't know about you. And so I chose comics. And I was shocked at the amount of other comic readers that we were all hiding from each other. It was like a little meeting, like a secret meeting in the hallway afterwards. And so that's where our comic group grew from. So it was that was back when you just did not tell people. So
You read
yeah,
comics, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I was in the same boat because I read manga and I watched anime, and that was like the same thing. It was very counterculture before it was cool, and it was like you just didn't tell people. You're like, I don't do it. Do you do that? No, I don't. Nope.
It's still not cool though.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
care.
no, so my comic group consisted of all the kids that had to go to therapy in school for having divorced parents, and we all liked comics. That's where we wrote and drew comics. This is back in the day when your parents got divorced. The school's like, nah, you're going to therapy.
Enforced by the
Is
yard
that-
guards.
So was that yard guards or therapy guards at that point?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You have the yard guards outside the door because you couldn't say no. You had to go see the therapist because having a divorced parents was it wasn't as normal as it is now. Because it's weird. It still says till death do us part. But I mean, how many marriages end in death? Less than 1%. First marriages, I should say.
Eventually, all of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about first marriages. You know.
I just love how we got back to yard guards.
The yard guards are never gone.
That you know what? That's why, because you guys are mocking them, and so it's not Durhold. It's the yard guards going through Daniel's pipe. It's got the yard guards all up in there, making him chocolate milk.
If anybody's laying pipe to a yard guard, it's Daniel. It's not the other way around.
Get him.
All right, going to the second question. Most surprising team you saw or faced? For me, it was the Amazon team. That one really caught me off guard, and I really didn't know how to come at it right away. So definitely Amazon.
I feel like I was the team that no one knew what to deal with, but as far as like what I faced, it was honestly the main force juice team. I was like, oh, well, this is a thing.
Oh yeah.
No, Dan's team 100%. Like if I would have saw, I'm like, wow. Because I believe you're also the only person to play Legacy Odin.
I was.
Yeah.
So the funniest part was everybody I faced pretty much was like, "Can I just have Odin's card for the game?" And I'm like, "Yeah, here you go." They're just like, "I don't know what he does."
Pete, what was the one that surprised you the most?
I was really surprised there was no Spider-Man.
Spider-Man isn't legal.
Yeah, she's not legal. That's why.
It's a good
I
reason.
should stop building with her then right now.
You should never have started.
No, I'm doing it. Miles told me it's good. and I
She's
believe
legal
Miles.
tomorrow.
Is she? Perfect.
Yep.
Just in time for Adepticon, boys. It's all coming together.
There's those bad
Spider-Man's
ideas
gonna
that
be
you were
there,
talking
and
about.
it's gonna happen, and you're gonna lose because of her, and I'm gonna laugh.
I
And I hope
love
it's.
it. I was gonna say I love it when a plan comes together.
Listen, the intrusive thoughts, they win more than they lose around here. Favorite team, the Amazon one was really pretty cool, honestly. I would have looked at that one and tried to figure out how it was going to take apart my team and wouldn't have been able to figure out for 2 turns. So,
And
yeah.
by that time, it was
great.
taken apart.
Yes, correct. It would have been in pieces. Except now I've got Spider-Man to lean on.
It's a good strategy. Any surprise rulings? I think it was the Pulse Wave Ghost Rider phone booth one that we were kind of talking about before. The shape change that they keep, even if it's given through different sources, like the rider because it's protected in the trait, and then the phone booth because it's off the map. So I think that was the surprise one that caught me off guard the most.
Well, it's because it's an object giving the power and not a character, so that's why it works.
And yeah, it doesn't get stripped. But that was one that we talked about how it turns off like team abilities and equipment, but not those things. What about Dan? Did you have anything from the event? Any surprise rulings?
There was the knockback off the revive that I was like, oh crap, forgot it worked that way. And was just kind of like, well, that put a dent in my play that game, but it's fine. Like it was one of those, and the not really a ruling, but like I said, the Kevin interaction with Keaton was the big thing that I just did not see because I had not.
Yeah,
seen
that needs that loophole should not exist. I understand why it does, but yeah,
I get why it works, but it is frustrating. But had I just known about it, I would have just instantly targeted him. It just was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that, and then just spin him back up. That was the biggest thing.
Miles, did you have one specifically?
Just from the finals, I don't know if it was a misruling or not, was about how if you mind control a friendly character, your opposing character mind controls you to attack a friendly character with mystics, that you don't take mystics.
Oh yeah, that was a misruling. That was the I think the really only big one all weekend.
Yeah,
that was the only one that I saw like on stream. So yeah, I can't.
Pete, did you have any?
The Kevin Beetlejuice one
Was big.
like it makes sense when it was explained, but that's a little rough. So.
All right, going to Joe Clark. What do you think the modern meta will be after this big event? Will Ghost Rider be a must-play? I think he was on the top 2 teams. People like to play what's winning because they think it's the piece and not the player. Ghost Rider was definitely underplayed, but I think now, and rightfully so, he's going to kind of see a huge increase in play just because he was in the top 2. But I thought it was going to be with the Dream Ruby, but I would expect because of the Crimson Gem and what we just saw you can do with the phone booth, even through Pulse Wave, I think that's going to be the tactic we see with it.
Yeah, he's not a must play. He's you just need to be prepared to face him.
He moves through that gauntlet of teams you need to be ready for.
Yeah.
That's why when everyone was surprised when I said you needed to prepare for Ghost Rider, like that's one of the big things. And I think more importantly too that not to take away from Rob at all, but he was very close to missing cut by 10 points. So Dan put in work against that team. So that just shows you that, he was winning with it, really close. Joe's team, though, was like he went 9-0 the entire event. And it has everything that you would want from a team. And so I think that we're probably going to see quite a bit of those teams. But like you said, people just play a team. And being a team builder, being a pilot are two different things. Just because a team is winning doesn't mean that you're going to win with it. It has to be something that you're comfortable with. You can't just take a team because like Joe built that to play to his strengths. So it's a unique build because he made it his own. Because who did he said that Ricky Prignano, I believe, and the only thing he did was he took off Juggernaut and put on Ghost Rider. Yeah. So he saw a winning team and he put Ghost Rider on to play to his strengths. And I think that's the secret to making Ghost Rider work is that you need to play to your strengths. Don't just play the team because Joe won with it. So
there's
be prepared for him, but you don't have to.
There's not like a Ghost Rider team to prepare for. It's literally you have to be prepared for the piece itself.
Yeah,
on whatever one it fits into.
Yeah. Exactly. He just fits on a lot of teams. He's got good keywords. He's just a stout piece in general. So
Mimic. Answer him with Mimic, because I don't think any of those teams had Chair Panther.
Joe's did.
Joe's did, yeah.
Oh, Joe did?
Yeah, because he took off my Mimic.
Not every time. You might not lose Mimic every time either. So.
Yeah.
Pete, did you have an opinion on Ghost Rider? Do you have an answer for Ghost Rider?
Yeah, Dan's played him a lot. I've played against Ghost Rider a lot. He's a great piece. I've always liked him. I think we've always been vocal about how good he's been. Because he just does one thing that's like unique in all of HeroClix.
Mm-hmm.
Like he protects you and your powers if you're just adjacent. That's phenomenal. If you just have that, not everything else he does is great too. So I think he's an underrated piece. What's good is that I don't think most builds were pretty unique. Like there's ones that you knew were coming, but reading through them all and reviewing them on here, I was really surprised at how little. We've had much worse metas where it's been like the same 3 teams.
Yeah, it really was open. I saw relatively different things all day. So I was pretty happily surprised that people are being more creative with their builds.
And it is very fitting that it was called ChampionClix Open, where the meta was open. So
very related for sure.
But we do like recency bias in this game, so he'll get played more now. But he's always been great.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking was the recency bias with people is high. So.
Well, we saw that with Death Metal Wonder Woman, where she really didn't see any play because I think ChampionClix Open, she saw a ton of play, and then she didn't see any play up until Worlds, and then that's when because people were like, I wasn't prepared for her. So yeah, he's just one of those figures that's gonna have seasons. But I think that with this being his last year in Modern, and with what he currently does and works with, I think that he's here to stay till he rotates.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. How do these results affect silver for Huntington's in May? I don't know if I don't have an answer for this one because I'm just not thinking about silver yet, or because I think it's honestly going to feel like a very standalone silver season, just very different from modern. I'm not sure how much modern is going to affect silver.
No, we also have the Spider-Verse set coming out. I don't think these results are going to affect silver at all. I think that we're going to see the silver is its own thing. So people are going to be, if they're expecting anything that we're seeing in the modern meta, it's going to be very, especially with what one with silver states, depending on the changes, I mean, it's just probably going to be the same.
I think maybe a crazy collector build.
Yeah.
But,
collector's going to make a splash in silver.
And then Spider-Verse affecting Spider-Man family. I think Spider-Man family is going to be, and that's not even like through these results though, like he's asking, but I do think that Spider-Man family is going to be big in silver in Huntington's. That keyword's going to be big.
100%.
That's neat to just, because we didn't see that at all last year, so it'd be neat to see some of that this year. But like you never know. People, like everybody's got a different regional thing that they do, even with silver. So like you never really know what you're going to see, honestly. So
I think not to shift into silver too much because we still got Adepticon, but I think absolutely going to see collector make a splash in silver.
Oh yeah.
I think you're going to see one shots play out in silver because that's a format that something like that is really pretty useful. And I think Spider-Man family is going to absolutely come up this silver season just because of this set.
Yeah. All right, moving to Anthony Barnstable. What was your favorite part about ChampionClix Open? Everything is just run so smoothly. The prizing is great, and the location just kind of feels like a vacation. So I think it's a perfect storm of everything great about HeroClix.
I think that's the biggest thing is how well everything ties together with like the nice little bow on top. That's what makes it.
There's so many highs and like no lows.
Yeah, like the easiest way I'll explain it is Worlds is Worlds, but this is top tier. Like this is the event that I look forward to as far as like the yearly events that get hosted the most outside of Worlds, and that's only because of its annotation is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how else to pay any higher compliment than that.
What could any other event of the year learn from ChampionClix Open and incorporate into that event that is currently done differently between the two? Number one, use HC units to run the pairings. And then beyond that, that's like a huge number one. And then one thing is that they started early, but they were also able to give enough time between and during the rounds. So I think that's huge also.
Yes, please start early. have everything. I think the biggest thing was they were prepared. They had everything ready to go. They were verifying builds ahead of time
On
So
HC units.
on HC units. Yes, again, HC units is kind of like the lock and key part of that. So, please, that is a big thing. I really appreciated that I could be out of there by like at the latest 8 o'clock instead of like, oh, it's 10 on a multi-day event. That is such a big proponent of being able to play well like the next day. Is I can still get to bed at a reasonable amount of time and get some rest, even with the time shift that occurred on Sunday where we lost an hour.
Yeah.
So
Everyone's already there, so just start the events early.
Listen, you don't get a man as handsome as Dan without him getting some beauty rest, okay?
What is something ChampionClix Open could improve upon to make the event even better? I wasn't a fan of the 2v2 this year. I had personally handed over directly to us and let D-Generation Clicks make the Friday 2v2 format. But my only real complaint I had with the whole weekend was sealed. Not enough time to open 12 boosters and build, and then just feeling rushed to get everything written down and move. And that start was kind of pretty terrible. So I know there's only 3 rounds, so people could make flights, but 5 rounds to cut just seems way better. It kind of just balances the matchups a little bit more. You might have really bad matchups the first 1 or 2 rounds, and that's, all of a sudden 2/3 of the Swiss play now, and you don't really get that chance to bounce back. So I was not a fan of the 3 rounds, and we need so much more time to go through the boosters and actually make decent teams. And just being rushed it sets me up to be, I don't know. I don't handle that well.
You were cranky.
We also didn't get to take a shower that morning, so that didn't help.
Well, that was by choice. I took a cold shower. I was like, all right, whatever. It is what it is.
I washed my balls and then I got out. It was cold.
It wasn't that cold. Maybe your balls were still going.
Yeah.
Well, they were basically tucked by the time he got done. He was like,
It didn't suck up inside of you for protection because it was cold.
No.
I like the shameless self promotion.
I did.
Absolutely.
Like, wow,
I think it's proven that Redmond can make formats that are fun for multiple people to enjoy. So, I mean,
I
as long as I get a vote to cause some chaos in the format, I'm fine with us planning things. That's all I want. I just want the Pete clause.
yeah, you're judging. That's part of it. That's part of the pitch is that Pete is a judge. You don't know the rule.
Pete as a judge would be so bad for
no.
everybody. It would be minute to minute changes. It could be fun though.
That's
It's a
the
fun
event, is
right?
just Pete is the judge.
Dude, it could be awesome. I could just sit there dressed like a Roman emperor and do everything like thumbs up or thumbs down.
Sounds terrible.
That's exactly how it is. Yeah.
Oh, we're
like
going like
And if
gladiator on this. Oh, I could get down with that actually.
And if anybody wants to argue, they have to arm wrestle Miles.
Yes.
Did anyone want to add anything to that last one?
I mean, my earlier I stated my slight critique was just more water or refreshment, please. Like being dehydrated at the end of day 2 was just not like debilitating, but just it was not a great feeling. I downed like so much water after that.
Here's what I've gotten from the episode tonight with Dan. Him making sure Ollie was fine while playing a battle royal is babysitting. He's a man that requires a lot of sleep and a lot of hydration.
That's true.
You want to go through your beauty regime next time, Daniel?
Yeah, of course, anytime.
You know what? Yeah.
Going to Mork Bird. 6 months until Worlds in Memphis. What 3 main force figures do you predict will still be relevant and played in volume during that event? I think now we're going to see Ghost Rider is going to have a strong presence until he retires. Prime Colossus for sure, and T'Challa is just way too important.
No. It's Predagiton, Timebreaker, and Butterfly.
I agree with your first 2.
Ghost Rider will be seeing central play. Yes, this will be played in volume. We're not going to see a lot of butterflies.
Well, I think Ghost Rider is going to ebb and flow. Like that's going to be the thing. So he might see an uptick, but I think he's going to trickle back down, especially as more stuff comes out and just the.
Oh no, wait up! This is for Worlds, and right now with what's able to be worked at with the Dream Ruby and then the shape change, like he's a must play. Not a must play, but he's going to be the top 3. I think Protegaton's up there too. And right now, it's really a toss up between Collector and Prime Colossus, and I just think there's going to be more Prime Colossuses than Collectors.
Sure.
Oh, for sure. Pete, do you have
but Chair Panther too.
Oh, Chair Panther.
Yeah, they're. Yeah.
T'Challa, Collector, Hidari Yao. She's not going anywhere.
Do you think that I was thinking about her originally, but she's not seeing the amount of play that I thought she would. I think she's relatively easier to counter. So the only real thing I see happening is that people stop having the answers for her, and then she pops up like right before Worlds.
I mean, Ghost Rider is a definite answer for her.
Yeah, Ghost Rider is 30 points cheaper than her because I just don't think you play her at 60. And even so, I think Ghost Rider is better at 70. And I think right now, especially with Ruler, because you want to team her up with Colossus, I think the better play right now is Ghost Rider Colossus. Post-rotation, she's taking Ghost Rider's slot.
I think Ghost Rider is the natural answer for her, but I think what happens is you still have a lot of other things that she can do a lot of damage to. So I just think she's a phenomenal attacker.
Oh, yeah, for sure she is, yeah.
Again, even without the universal weapon, the 3 pulse wave is 3 pulse wave, right? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But just in and of herself, like she is a great attacker.
Oh yeah, she's an amazing attacker.
Yeah.
And a brief wrestling question: what is your favorite title belt from the history of wrestling? Any brand, any era, cream of the crop? I think mine
Miles,
might actually.
If you take my belt, I'm gonna get so pissed.
You go ahead and pick your belt because I have 2.
All right, you first, Robin.
The WWF winged one, the winged eagle.
Dan.
Yep.
Oh, I this is a question I'm not gonna have an answer for. So
It's John Cena's spinner belt. Just say it.
I completely forgot that was a thing, but that was pretty fun. That was pretty hilarious. I mean, it sums up the 2000s.
Now, is the WWE version, the WWE title, or the US title? I'm for the US title.
The WCW World Heavyweight Championship belt. The all gold belt with the nameplate. Simple, gaudy, amazing. It got even more amazing when they spray painted NWO on the front.
Yep, that was one of mine. So yeah,
I knew it. I knew it. See,
yeah. That's why Pete needed to get out there first. He's like, no.
Yep. So I have 2 of them. It's a really hard toss up. It's the $1 million belt from Ted DiBiase.
Too. Damn it, Miles, that's good.
It's just a complete unique. It's an amazing title belt. And then second favorite, just because of the 24/7 rule, the hardcore title with Crash Holly. That is just a broken winged eagle belt with tape that says hardcore.
That thing looks so sad.
But that's the whole entire point. Like they gave it to Mankind when he was part of the corporation. Like that's the entire point of it looking like trash.
That's the title for the Pacific Northwest right there.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, the $1 million belt is for me.
Can I say my favorite title belt?
Is it not the spinner one?
No, it is the ChampionClix monthly title belt. Actually.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, that actually does work.
Any brand, any era. So
it does say history of wrestling though. But
okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna break off this one because that is a belt that I would actually proudly wear. So
all right.
Yeah, the history of Clix wrestling.
What's Dan wearing?
All right, moving on to.
I missed it. What did he?
He said our title belt for the monthly.
The most prestigious prize in Clix right now is the ChampionClix monthly invitational championship of the world.
Very true. Moving to local tryhard Ryan Bookwood, who recently got smashed on Monday. You're welcome. First question, top 3 wrestling theme songs. I thought this one was actually pretty hard. I have a lot of them on my workout mix. I went with the Triple H one, the Time to Play the Game, and then I really like CM Punk, and then if there's one that really hits, it's The Rock, mainly for the intro. And honorable mention, I had to go with Edge. I'm not an Alter Bridge fan, but when that "You Think You Know Me" hits, and then the Pyros, that's pretty strong.
This took tons and tons of thinking. Top 3 were hard. I have one of my older computers. I gotta try and find it. I had over 7 terabytes of wrestling themes.
That's ridiculous.
I had every theme song ever from any wrestler up until like 2000, I think 15. That's when I had, it's amazing. Yes, Undertaker had 25 or 35 different versions.
It was just a different gong.
Even more than that. Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it was a little different too. But number 3, I'm gonna have to go with probably my favorite 3-man team. Some people try and say the Shield. There might be even old school guys that are like, you know what? No, it's got to be the Freebirds. But there's only one true answer, and it's 3 count. Okay.
Get out of here.
3 count. Yes. Everybody sing with 3 count. 1, 2, 3. They like the Backstreet Boys. NSYNC 2. Britney Spears is kind of cute. Watch TRL on MTV. Number 2 is going to be the Twin Towers theme song, which is Big Boss Man and Akeem the African Dream, otherwise known as One Man Gang. And it's Slick, their manager, singing it. It's called Jive Soul Bro. Definitely got to be up there. And then my number 1 theme of all time is going to be Wreck, the Mankind theme song.
That just starts with a giant car crash.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cactus Jack, but that's from a porn, so I went with Mankind.
All right. Dan, do you have an answer for this one?
You stole one of mine. I actually really like Triple
Dude
H's opener with the. Huh?
I was gonna say I know 3 count hits.
Lord. No, what it was the time to play the game one that is quite a hitter. So it's like, it's pretty solid. I grew up with mid 2000s like hip hop and R&B, so I'm like partial to Cena just because I'll give it to him. Like he can actually like.
If Gil Cena comes out to his song "Bad Man," I am going to squeal like a little girl.
I think you're getting Dr. Thugonomics, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like,
Bad Man.
That's actually pretty great. Like, I mean, that was pretty much the era I grew up in as far as like music was concerned when he came out and he dropped a full album. Like it was pretty solid. Those are my big 2. I don't have a third one, unfortunately. So
I did get that album.
It's great.
Pete, what about you? Year 3.
This is a tough question. Obviously, we're all partial to the D-Generation X theme on here, but
Yes.
I didn't even make my top 3. I would go with Sprach Zarathustra, or the 2001 Space Odyssey. Ric Flair came out too. I would go with Stone Cold Steve Austin, When the Glass Breaks. You just know it was so exciting, man. When you heard that glass break, yeah. And I would go with my personal favorite, Daniel Bryan's Flight of the Valkyries. But dude, there's so many other ones that just missed for that stuff. The Rocks was a huge one. Always liked Edges. Yeah.
What was your favorite version of The Rock?
Oh, I liked him when he was with the Nation. When he first turned, like the first couple promos, fighting Triple H for the Intercontinental title. When he first went heel was amazing.
For some reason,
he was the corporate champion.
Hollywood Rock, where it has the helicopters, and he just whispers.
That one was terrible.
Cooking.
There's a reason it didn't
one
last.
is amazing.
It's terrible.
He just whispers, "Is cooking." Love it.
I just love how far on the other end you two are on that one. It was like y'all are just completely on the opposite end of that.
The time when he was feuding with Billy Gunn, and he was talking about Billy Gunn and saying his prayers and talking to God, and he said, "What's your name?" It doesn't matter what your name is. That was one of my favorite Rock promos of all time.
That moment, Billy Gunn would even say like that moment ruined any chance of him becoming a main eventer. The Rock he just obliterated him. Like Billy Gunn could not come back from that.
No,
he was done.
That was not a guy you wanted getting a mic and getting 5 minutes against you.
Thoughts on when Stone Cold started using "what" in his promos? Personally, I thought it was gold. I thought it was great until it
Worst
wasn't.
thing ever.
Yeah, it got old quick.
Yeah, it's because everybody still uses it, like just what, and it's like that is just the dumbest thing ever. Like, really, guys, why? Because they want to be part of the show, I guess. It's the what is, like I said, it was great until it wasn't, and it got old real quick.
Yeah. Pete, did you like it ever?
I liked it. No, I liked it. I'm an Austin mark though. I loved Austin. He was just phenomenal. The whole thing with him and McMahon was just like one of the great feuds of all time.
Dan, did you ever catch it when he was doing the what gimmick or when he started that?
No, that was well past me, or I wasn't keeping up with any of that, so I have no idea what that is, unfortunately.
What? I'm sorry, I had to.
The promo figures they did for Spider-Verse are pretty cool. I hope they do more in the future for our different sets. I think it's a great way for more sealed product buys in stores. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
this is not a question.
It's not. It's a thing that
it's
he
a
put
listener
on there.
statement.
It is a listener statement.
It was unfortunately just part of the post, so I just tried to throw it in there.
And it's also nice too. This set is that they make it to where there's a reason why they're not in the boosters because they're 2x2s. So I thought that was real cool.
Yeah, they
probably. Look, when we get to the listener statement segment, you're gonna dominate.
The questions, you're kind of slacking.
All right, going to Charles Constant. Will we get young Daniel or very, very dark evil Daniel on the show tonight? Dan, what do you think?
The first one, I don't know. Like, that's just something that Pete calls me every now and then, so I'm not really sure to what he's referring to. The second, if I'm gonna go evil, it's more like I guess my kind of evil is more like the Americans. So that doesn't really fit here.
What do you mean the Americans? You mean the un-Americans? Lance Storm, Test, and Christian?
That's not the Americans I'm referring to. But
nice
sure.
reference, Mike.
No, they're the un-Americans.
Yes.
I'm glad someone got the reference. Thanks, Pete.
I knew what they were.
Listen, Evil Dan he's got Darehold living in his pipes. So Dan's got some things he has to deal with.
And yard guards.
Dan's the only one that hasn't realized his heel turn has started.
I'm just not that kind of person. It's not really
Dan's going to be more of a Randy Orton where he's going to just finally admit to hearing voices.
that is much more accurate than the heel turn.
All right, going to.
Do we have to do the next set of questions?
We'll go through it really quick because
Fine.
I hate him.
I figured I'd put him in the middle so we could just like punch through it and be done.
Yeah, we can put him in the beginning or the end. I mean, there's not a good spot for him. Bizd Redman, I have returned from my stasis chamber and have resumed bringing justice to the CLIX community. I know you were concerned about my well-being. I was not, Recyclops. But fear not, citizen. I am back for the good of all CLIX kind. That is too bad. What are your thoughts about people complaining about sales trade posts when they haven't gotten their bricks yet? Should the whole page wait until everyone gets a brick before posting trades or sales? Well, unfortunately, some people must be the first, and no one can be before them.
Love the CLIX economy, so like, because it is just, it's the Wild Wild West, so I'm okay with it. It's hilarious.
I just had
this guy has had.
I think we need to have everyone. I think yeah, no, I think everyone should wait. I think it's only fair. It's equal opportunity. There's no reason it's not. It's not fair that somebody got it first. It's not fair.
Whoever's sitting in their grandparents' basement typing these questions out under this moniker, seriously, this is the dumbest question you've ever had, and you've had some stinkers. The CLIX economy is one of the great parts of HeroClix.
Exactly, yeah. It's like so entertaining.
So if that ever goes away, I'm gonna lose part of my enjoyment of this hobby. Is just watching the sales and trades post when somebody gets something literally 3 days before somebody else can.
Yeah. Like, and I wheel
We
and
need to
deal
bring
on-
Fasadas back.
and I know that I wheel and deal on the trade posts. So it's like, hey, like I am a-okay with how they function as they are, because people are just like, hey, I'm looking to offload this, and it's like, oh, well, you're willing to sell it like 15, 20 bucks under price? Sure, I'll take it because you just want to get rid of it.
Well, the questions don't get any better because now it's just, I just had some blueberry pie. It was delicious. A very nice gentleman gave it to me as a prize for doing favor. Well, that's great. I hope you shared it with a friend.
I'm pretty sure he might have choked on it.
Oh, we would be that lucky.
Oh, we did get evil, Dan.
See? He doesn't even know, like I said.
Yeah, it's natural. Maybe it's natural. Maybe it's evil Dan.
As Pete said, the what's it called? The intrusive voices. They're kind of winning right now.
Oh, the thoughts.
Yeah,
get so good.
it's not Maybelline. It's evil Daniel. Maybe it's natural. Maybe it's evil Daniel. You know.
Overall, how do you think Sealed for Spider-Verse was? It seems a lot more balanced than Common Thanos running around. Recyclops, you are the Common Thanos of this question segment.
Well, no, that would mean that he was overpowered. He's not. If anything, he's like
the amount.
He's the Lady Mastermind or the Chase Vulture.
Yeah, he's the Chase Vulture. He's not Lady Mastermind. At least Lady Mastermind meant 3 and 2.
He's
like
literally ruining my night, just like Common Thanos. That's a lot of power right there.
Which is worse, though, Chase Vulture or Lady Mastermind? Because honestly, they're both just a giant pile.
I think it's Vulture just because he hasn't gone 3 and 2 yet. So.
Oh, 4 and 2. Yeah.
Sorry, 4 and 2. My bad.
Man.
Yeah, let's get done with this.
Until next time, best friend. Recyclops out. Whoosh. All right, moving on to Ben Groenhide. Assuming the Spider-Verse collation is the new standard, how do you all feel about it? It seems that Chase is guaranteed in the 12 booster bricks, but there are more boosters with just CURs in them. I think PJ mentioned in a post that every brick had a Chase, and the only issues with cards were, I think, 2 spot not having cards, right?
Yeah, didn't have the spot cards. Yep.
So and they opened, I forget how many hundreds,
200 bricks.
Yeah, he said several hundreds.
It was crazy how much. So that's honestly right there. That's great. But I think that's a huge step in the right direction. And if people can get mostly a full CUR from a case and like 6 super rares, 2 chases, and a prime or 2, I mean, that sounds pretty good to me for a case.
100%.
Oh yeah, I have 2 of my cases were Vulture cases, but they were made up for by the other brick. So, yeah, absolutely.
I would say that if you're gonna buy sealed, though, I always go with a case. Don't get the brick because you want the other side of that brick usually too.
Because you'll get the Vulture brick every time.
It's happened.
Oh, every time. Speaking of which, I have a Vulture for trade if anybody wants it. Unrelated.
Unrelated, sir.
I actually sold mine for $20, and I think I ripped them off.
$20 is $20.
Seriously, yeah, no, I did. I sold because I pulled 2 of them, so I sold one for $20, and I almost felt bad. I said, should I pay you $20 to take it away from me?
I can't even decide if I'm more disappointed in Vulture as the chase out of my pull, of my impulse buy of my case last night, or if it's Chase Deadpool with the gauntlet still.
Vulture's still better than Chase Deadpool.
That's close.
Yeah.
At least Vulture can offer some kind of synergy. Deadpool's just like...
Maybe if Westpool ever decides to get out of his basement and wants to play a game of ChampionClix, he can go ahead and play, we're going to prove this now, play as Deadpool, and I'll play Chase Vulture team, and we'll see who wins.
Death is not an option, Miles. Chase Deadpool or Vulture. Modern meta.
Vulture's green, so he's got that going for him.
That is true.
Well, yeah, you can also play him with Swap Batman and Main Force Beetlejuice and go with Team Keaton if you're, like that sort of thing. It's kind of the same people that make blueberry pies and give them to people.
All right, going to Adam Masajewski. Was there any point where Ryan got so mad that he put a shirt with sleeves on during the event? I think I had a hoodie on the days that we traveled. Otherwise, I don't think I had to wear sleeves all weekend. A very nice perk of Orlando.
Yeah, if he puts sleeves on, there's a problem. Like I was getting ready to put the Kevlar on in Orlando or in New Orleans. I was a little nervous at that point. So glad I did not see it this past weekend.
It was a very
That's why you
got to
solve your problems with arm wrestling. You gotta assert your dominance, Redman. Arm wrestle from now on.
Wait, did you actually Did you actually like suplex somebody this weekend? I heard there was a bet going around for that, but did it actually happen or no?
Well, Kenny and I had a bet that I would do better than him in Modern, and he, for some reason, thought that he was going to do better than me. So we decided that the winner would rock bottom the loser into the pool. But unfortunately, he sprained his ankle really bad the day before, so he wanted to go double or nothing at our next event for a bet. But I told him that he's still gonna. No, I told him that he's still getting his rock bottom. We'll just make a new bet.
Yeah, there's no double or nothing, buddy.
Yeah,
you
taking the rock bottom in the pool, even if it's at Worlds, you're taking it. Going to Matthew Vanderloop. Is the 3 Pogs in the Spider-Man Chase boosters a response to complaints of Pogs not being available, or just there to boost weakish chases? I don't know how long it would take to adjust based off player demand. People weren't really making a big deal about it until the Black Panther set, really. So I'm guessing it's more along the lines of just a general change, or maybe there was issues with Collector's Trove bystanders numbers. Like they just didn't have enough to put them in there?
Collector's Trove was equipment, and they thought, no, these are too good to put more than one per chase booster.
Yeah, so then they bumped him up because there's none of that in Spider-Man. I could see that.
Yeah.
I really don't think it's response, because I just don't think the turnaround times that quickly or that like rapid.
Their bystanders really. I mean, I know there's Cider Man, but I
actually like Jefferson.
No, they're good, but no, they're not nearly what Black Panther.
Oh no!
Or even Black Panther's top with.
I get that. I just meant like there's a couple good ones, but there's not as many stellar.
And that's exactly why, because they're like, oh hey, no, these aren't that good. We can give them 3.
Cider Man is good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. The alien one, yeah,
with the apples.
Yeah, I love Cider Man.
The equipment. It was better in Collector's Trove, and that's just going to be a nightmare to have to track down any of them. I don't think it's in response to weak chases, though. I think the chases for the Spider-Man set are largely okay.
I think.
You can get a factory set of Black Panther for cheaper than you can get the bystander equipment from Collector's Trove. Because someone was selling a factory set that included the bystanders from Black Panther for $850. That can't get you a full. Well, you can't buy all the Pogs.
Yeah, he just won that though at ChampionClix, and I think he just wanted to ditch it because it's definitely worth the $850.
Oh no, for sure. No, that's the entire point though, is that you can get an entire factory set for $850. You can't even get the collector's Pogs.
Yeah.
For that. Yeah.
But I do think the Spider-Verse set is actually a really good support set, and I like a lot of the chases. So they're not crazy at face value. I think you're gonna have to be a little creative when you're building with them, but I think the most of them are actually pretty strong.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying they're bad at all. I'm just saying they're not at the level that the last 2 were, or even I guess because there's no like figure that's like a Weasel or like a Zenzi,
Oh, and the Pogs, yeah.
Yeah, or the equipment, yeah.
William Dayroker, as a person that looks at a lot of HeroClix data, it does appear that the meta is shifting to the defensive. At ChampionClix Open, players that went second won more often than those who went first, and unthemed teams had a better record than themed teams. Do you guys prefer a meta that is more offensive or defensive? No cop-outs and claiming balanced. I prefer defensive because I want to see an actual match get played like back and forth. I'm not a fan of building that, go first, win fast team.
I like in the middle. I don't like pure defensive, and I don't like just pure offensive. Because like I said, I want to see a game. The low scoring games is just it. I'm not a huge fan of that, but for the pure defense.
I should clarify, I don't mean like barriering up and not fighting, but I mean like having a defense where you don't just where you're not offense focused, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dan, what do you say?
I mean, I like offense, like, because I mean, I crutch rollouts, so like I'm just banking on I'll be all right. I can live a turn and then keep going. So like, I mean, I like offense, but like, I don't ever have just offense, so like it's hard for me to say like that's all I build because I don't have just pure offense.
Pete, what about you?
I tend to go offense. I like offense, but with one caveat. I hate eternal combos. The Chase Hawkeye from ADW was a problem. Vulture was a problem. Like, that stuff I don't like. I want to say HeroClix played, but I don't mind truly devastating offensive pieces. But there has to be a balance to them.
He said,
like, you should not lose a turn. Like, you shouldn't lose a game turn in one turn.
Yeah. Thoughts on the fact that we can now leave our starting area on turn 1 and still return and retain first turn immunity as long as those figures end their turn in their starting area. I'm more just happy that first turn immunity is going to be easier to explain.
I'll still have questions.
I know. We kind of touched on it earlier. Do you guys have anything to add to it?
I'm gonna say I'm not really thrilled with this change just because I can go get my phone booth and then not get shot at. Like that, like breaking first turn immunity was a choice, and now there's no like real negative connotation for just going first. You can pretty much do everything you want to do outside of not going, like just basically just actually sitting outside of your starting area. So that to me is a little irritating, but just because of how the games can go. So, but. Otherwise, the other comp changes were fine. That was the one where I'm not super thrilled about.
What about this take on it, where people now don't have to decide if it's worth breaking first turn immunity because they always know that they can go back and get it, and now the first turn is going to be a lot quicker?
I feel like the first turn was generally pretty quick anyway. At least most of my games, like first turn was pretty fast. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know who you're playing. I played people where there's a 7-minute conversation and they passed.
So you think that this is going to have the turns take shorter when now you can now stretch out your first turn by taking pointless actions to waste time and then still keep your first turn immunity. I mean, it is a tactic.
But the thing is that you don't have to think about if it's worth it or not because you literally can pretty much just always do what you want to on your first turn.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, yeah, but now you can actually take longer on your first turn by taking 4 actions, leaving your starting area, and then moving your character back.
That's 100% going to happen.
Well, yeah, that's very easy that you're just tell you're stalling if that's the case.
Well, yeah, no, that's, yeah. What do you mean I'm stalling? I'm moving in. I'm going to pick up objects, you know?
Yeah, you're going to have the same 7 squares counted as usual.
Hey, yeah, exactly. And you're going to set your...
If there's an opportunity to find a loophole in trying to manage the clock in your favor by giving your opponent less time to play, they're going to take it. We've seen it at high levels of play, and we're going to continue seeing it at high levels of play, be it in modern or sealed or even silver.
I disagree.
I just think there's a lot of phone booths getting carried around on turn 1. That's all
I'm
I think.
hope for the best and then not be surprised when the worst happens because I will always equate to the lowest common denominator when it comes to clicks.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying just be prepared that people are going to try to do that. It's 100% stalling. I'll call them out too. I'm like, really? You're just going to move 4 squares out just to move 4 squares back? Why? You're just wasting time?
You can also like reposition based off of it. I don't know. I don't think it hurts the second player as much as everyone is saying.
No, it does. Well, like, so first player, if somebody like Perdegatons someone and you have to leave your starting area to get to where you need to, as long as you end in your starting area, like I can see that being okay, you know, because now that
that's not bad. Yeah, that is pretty rough when that happens to you. You're like, well, they are across the
especially the 2x2s.
Oh yeah.
I just think it's an opportunity to waste time at the beginning. And the first player has an opportunity to be set up better defensively, and they still have their immunity.
Yeah, that's what doesn't make sense.
You might as well start the damn phone booth wherever you want it on your team.
But then they're
Not
still
5
going just
squares up.
back to. They're taking the offensive piece that they would want to go with anyway and bringing it back to their starting area. Then I just don't see it being as big of a deal. We'll see as time goes on. Going to Wes Robertson, was wrestling better when they were pretending to be real, or since then and they aren't restricted by believability? I wasn't interested in wrestling until like 2000, so I'd have to say it's the latter.
As a kid, it was important to think it was real, but as you realize that it was just kind of predetermined. I mean, it's still athletic. It's still all the other things. It can still be violent. Then it's just more enjoyable to know that it's predetermined and it's an act. So
I think the difference between now and then is not so much as them pretending to be real, but actually having storylines that you get invested with the wrestlers instead of the generic stuff that's now, not just from AEW, but the WB. And there's just some things that are just, you can watch a movie and you know the movie's fake, but like you still have to play by like certain rules that's going to exist in it. And those get broken a lot just because like they want a huge pop from the crowd for a move that is, for instance, like the pay-per-view we just watched, like someone gets a brainbuster through a chair and then that doesn't end the match. You go, okay, Spanish Fly. Like there has to be some kind of realism and great storytelling going on. And that's why I'm not being the old man Rivers saying it was better back then, but when you're able to invest in characters, as well as play with realism, because they have their own rule set, like even though it is obviously predetermined, but like you're still playing it in real world. That's when it was better, not just now just for the pop or the ballet that a lot of the matches have come into.
The brain buster on the chair was a lot of discussion.
It's ridiculous. Like it looked cool. And the match should have ended there. Like that's just facts. But it's becoming more of a ballet to where you have to make it look at least real. I guess it doesn't really have pretending to be real. As I guess yes, even though we knew it was fake back in the Attitude Era. That's when storytelling really became a thing during the Monday Night Wars. Back when wrestling was like, if you were cool, you watched wrestling, like that was a cool thing to do. Cross chopping yard guards. Like that's when it was better.
Okay. Dan, do you have a thing with this one?
I do not, unfortunately. So.
All right.
It's like it. At the end of it, I very much agree with Pete. Like it's very still much like athleticism and like a performance, and it's like I don't know. I enjoy it for the entertainment value. I don't know if it's like anything's really taken away back by it, whether I know it's real or not. So.
And this one I was more interested on your guys' thoughts on, but it was definitely easy for me. Hulk Hogan at his prime versus The Rock at his prime. Who comes out on top? The Rock is the whole reason that I even started watching wrestling, so I went with The Rock immediately.
I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong. Okay, Hulk Hogan from January of 1984 till he faced The Rock in 2002, so March of 2002, was only pinned clean, not including house shows, maybe 5 times. We're gonna have Yokozuna pinned him clean in 1994 and or 1993, July 13th. Ultimate Warrior pinned him April 1st of 1990, clean. And then you're also going to have the other clean pinfall was going to be Goldberg in 1998 at the Georgia Dome. And then you have The Rock. And that was after Hogan was out of his prime. So if you look at that, when Hogan was in his prime, he got pinned twice. That doesn't work for him, brother. He's not losing.
So, I agree with Miles. And I love The Rock. But this is not Hollywood Hogan or any of this stuff. This is Hulk Hogan in his prime. This is the great American hero. This is the overcoming all the odds. This is the big boot, the leg drop. All the kids go home happy. The Rock is not overcoming Hulkamania in its prime.
No. 2 losses in 10 years is insane.
Dan, what about you? What do you say?
wish I had. I was gonna say I wish I had like an actual opinion on this because I really don't know.
Let me give you your opinion, Dan. You're going to say your prayers, you're going to take your vitamins, and what are you going to do when those 24-inch pythons run wild on you, brother?
So I did actually meet Hulk Hogan in person, and he is exactly like that. So
I figured I was going to lose this one.
It's just because if you're talking about Prime Hogan and how wrestling is staged and everything, Prime Hogan's never losing. The only reason why he lost to Ultimate Warrior was because he was transitioning to Hollywood with Suburban Commando in 1990. So he went to film that, and they thought that Warrior was going to be able to carry it. And they figured out that he couldn't, so that's why Hogan won it the next year. And then he lost to Yokozuna because he said, listen here, brother, I know Bret Hart just won the belt, but we're going to Europe. Let's have Hulkamania get one last run. And then he lost to Yoko. And left WB for 10 years.
That's true.
Yeah.
Did any pieces fall off the plane? None that I'm aware of. But plane rides have, I think, been really rough lately. I don't know if any of you guys have been on planes lately, but they've been not great.
Really, I have not had any issues. I mean, I enjoy.
Yeah, no, that has me a little worried. So
I've noticed a lot more turbulence, and the landings have been a lot worse.
See, I did not have that at all the last couple times, so I've definitely not had that experience. But I mean, I've had the worst experience you could probably have on a plane. So after that, nothing's really bad anymore.
Did you get in a crash?
No, we got hit by
Dan's
lightning.
had some really bad experiences, so I don't want to know what his really bad plane experience is.
That would
Just
just
by
be
lightning? Dang.
Yeah, we were over the Pacific Ocean and we got hit by lightning and we dropped like 10,000 feet. So that was like, whoo, boy, if we're going, we're going.
Yeah, pucker, didn't it?
No, it was kind of just like, well, if this is how if we're going, we're going.
If I was you, I'd probably have my butt clenched and I would have hugged the closest person, just hugged him. I don't care if he was a big fat man or whatever. He's getting held, you know?
Dude, my pants would have been so full of shit at that moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would have blamed it on the barking spiders.
I wasn't really freaked out. It was kind of just like, well, if this is how I'm going, I guess this is it. Because it's like, you hit the water and you're fish food. So it's like, well, I'd rather us just like make impact and go. So I was, yeah. I mean, the pilot was super on top of it, though. He was just like, hey, everything's all right. I know we got hit by lightning, but like, we're all good. Don't worry. Engines are going to be back on in a moment, and we'll be.
Don't worry.
Yeah, it was
that's exactly what you want to hear. Don't worry. Engines are off currently, but
don't worry.
They'll be right on.
I think the biggest thing was like the instant like weightlessness. That was probably the like oh shit moment. But otherwise, like it was just like I don't know. I was kind of just like, well, whatever. I have no physical control over any of this. So what is the point?
Dan's plane get hit by lightning. It drops 10,000 feet, and he's like, oh well, whatever.
Yeah, but in the moment he was like, I'm going out and I'm gonna kiss the closest person next to me.
That was actually the origination of Two Fingers Dan.
Was the plane.
Yeah.
Going to Westpool. How much more fun was the event without Aquamiles stinking up the place?
Hey, I will say Aquamiles is very cleanly, so I get that like nonsense out of here.
Yeah, he lives in water.
That's a good point. I think Aquamiles should have attended personally.
Yeah. Aquamiles, fun fact, he's been to more events than Westpool.
100%.
That is a fun fact.
I know he's making Adepticon, so that's going to be even more now.
Aquamiles is coming as far as you can get from an ocean.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty close. Pretty close, from the Great Lakes.
You can get to the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
You don't want to swim in Lake Michigan.
No, it's terrible.
We'll talk about that another time.
I don't want to have anything to do with anything that has to do with Michigan.
Even the lake of Michigan?
He just said Michigan in general.
I said Michigan, period.
Okay. Alec Muser.
Wolverines?
Going to Alec Muser. If a zombie outbreak happens in Las Vegas, would it stay in Vegas? I don't think I've ever seen a zombie outbreak that stayed put. That's not really a thing that they do, so I'm going to go with
exactly.
no.
like the Vegas spiff on this, but I definitely think it's just going everywhere.
So there's a movie, it's Army of the Dead, and that's what happens. And it's just locked up in Vegas, and it does stay in Vegas.
God damn it, Miles! Every time, unbelievable. I was gonna give that information, but I'm gonna answer this question with a question. If a herpes outbreak starts in Vegas, it doesn't stay in Vegas, correct? So the zombie outbreak isn't either.
If a what outbreak starts in Vegas?
Herpes.
I mean, you can only contain any of those things for so long, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Army of the Dead's worth watching, though.
It's pretty good. I will say that.
Zack Snyder is it was nice to see him go back to the zombie genre after that's where he really got his name out there in Hollywood with the Dawn of the Dead remake in 2000.
Dave Bautista's in it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's why I watched it.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the name of that movie when I saw this question and did not realize that it was Army of the Dead. All right.
I love Vegas. We should go to Vegas.
Again, for a second time.
Newmark, you want to look?
Ooh, it has a sequel coming out and it has a spin-off. I didn't realize it had a spin-off, Army of Thieves. I'm going to have to look at that.
Oh, that one was pretty good too, actually. I didn't mind that either.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was a prequel. I'm going to have to watch that.
Illuminati. Now that Ryan has gotten his balls back and remembers how to play HeroClix, will he continue to roll with it at Adepticon? I feel like people legitimately have just started to underestimate me. Like I feel like I always make cut at most events, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you do fine. No.
I find
Where
whatever.
were your balls previously?
Say.
You had to get them back.
First.
Whatever. I'm liking my team, so I'm rolling with it at Adepticon.
Oh no, you've proven it. And Alec, who's another believer in Blue Beetle, like last year it was neck and neck with you and him about who was the better Arachnite player. And like right now, like you're so far ahead of him, it's gonna be hard for him to prove that he's a better Blue Beetle player. So
is he doing Blue Beetle right now?
Yeah, that's the figure he really wants to get to work and everything. Yeah, Blue Beetle's his new piece. I guess after I lost Arachnite, I'm building with Blue Beetle. Exact same argument as you. Okay. So, yeah, you guys were neck and neck last year. So, right now you're far ahead as the best Blue Beetle player.
What were you gonna say, Pete?
Lou once again having the clever questions. Roll with it, Adepticon, because the dice game. Mm-hmm. I'm on to you, Illuminati. I'm on to you.
As long as it's a single D6, I'll roll every time.
With 2 fingers.
Oh yeah.
And a dice cup that's really loud.
The 2-fingered single D6 roll.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then we have Peter Marshfield. Well, I'm late to the party, but what can you do? Perhaps Quentin Trimbley fell off a cliff while riding his horse backwards. The world may never know. What's that from? Is that another stupid show cartoon reference?
I'm assuming it's the Gravity Falls reference. I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's not stupid. It's great. Thank you, Peter.
Is that what it's from?
Things can be stupid and great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hate this show before I watch it, and it's all his fault.
I hope that's not the case. The show's really enjoyable.
After experiencing the spice of success, has Ryan decided he needs to let the spice flow? If you caught this reference, what sci-fi IP would each of you like to adapt into HeroClix setting? Do you have a specific character, vehicle, or item from that series? Get the Clix treatment. Well, I didn't catch the reference.
Dune.
Spice. Oh, go ahead. I know what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, it's from Dune.
Mm-hmm.
See, I did not know that one either, but I did not watch it.
That's what they're farming is spice.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Miles, what do you got? Because I've got 2 good answers for this. So you're going to steal one of them automatically.
I probably am. Yeah, no, this is really tough because like I was a Star Trekkie and there's that. But if the iconic set would be perfect. So I want Galaxy Quest, 100%.
They had one, didn't they? A Galaxy Quest set?
They didn't have Galaxy Quest. No. You're thinking of the Orville. I'm talking about.
Oh, that's.
I'm talking about the Galaxy Quest with by the hammer. Oh, what's his name? It's
the Tim
Alan Rickman. Yeah, And Alan Rickman as Dr. Lazarus. But I grab Thar's hammer by the sons of Warvan. You shall be avenged. That's what I want. Okay. Want him? That's what I want, man. They have these little monsters that are like they could be like time breakers, but like instead like they're just like blades, claws, fangs, and just like once per game you turn to like click 11, they're just insane attackers. Yeah.
Okay. I want to see Alien Predator again, but make them like viable in modern day.
I mean,
That'd be so good.
I think Alien is 2 now, isn't it? Or is
yeah,
it just, they got both.
Yeah, they've done it. They've done it too. I just like the Predator stuff they've
If you
done
can get
more.
Dylan and Dutch like on a sculpt, like each sculpt, but like they go together, sort of like how the Deadpool and Wolverine is, except it's 2 different figures.
Oh
be
yeah,
perfect. Yeah, they have a matching trait called "You Son of a Bitch."
Dan, did you have one?
I don't. Does it count as like sci-fi? I feel like Godzilla is like the very like next step there. It's just.
I think that Godzilla counts as sci-fi. It's not real life.
I literally think a giant dinosaur that breathes radiation is sci-fi, Dan.
It's drama.
Like that was like the first thing that popped into my head. It was like, well, like Godzilla would be amazing, but
What just happened here?
That or what? I like Avatar or the blue Avatar. The
Yeah, the
like,
Navi.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
that'd
Navi, that and like the different animals and stuff that you could get would be pretty neat. And you'd
Oh
obviously
yeah, and you can even give him an avatar like a god that like gives him like Navi powers. Oh yeah.
Or you do like, and you also have the humans on the other side where you have like you could do the vehicle stuff with the
Yeah.
suits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Pete, you didn't say
All
one
right,
yet,
Pete,
did you?
don't let us down because this is the one that I didn't say because I'm hoping you're saying it.
I've got so I love. Here's what I appreciate about Peter, because Peter likes to go to obscure things, and I can appreciate that. There are 2 movies from the 1980s that are sci-fi that I would want. One of them is just simply for a thing. So there's a 1984 science fiction film called The Ice Pirates with Robert Urich.
That movie is amazing.
No one's heard of this.
No,
Yeah, no. If you
The guy that has 7 terabytes of wrestling theme music. Yes, he's heard of the Ice Pirates. That is it.
yeah.
So there's a
And do
scene
you not
with this.
understand that like him and Pete are on the same wavelength? So obviously, if Pete's gonna bring it up, Miles is probably gonna know about it.
Miles, do you want to talk about the space herpy?
Tell us about Ice Pirates, Pete.
No, you should just go watch it. I just want the little space herpy for a thing that pops out as a bystander. The other one, my more serious one, that was the intrusive thought, was 1980, Flash Gordon, starring Sam J. Jones.
He's a saver of the universe.
It would be so good. That's all I got.
All right.
I
It
thought
was
you were going to say
saying-
StarCraft. StarCraft was one I would.
StarCraft would be good too. But Flash Gordon has to come with a theme song. Like when you open the box. You know, remember you used to open the box and something would play? Where it is literally just the Queen theme song when you open the iconic.
Yeah, I mean,
set.
yeah. If they can do it with like cheap, like birthday cards, they could easily do it.
Oh, amazing. The sky bikes, the sword, Ming the Merciless.
Personally, I'd find it amusing to have some kind of sandworm-like transport or global trigger that can be used once per game when a character travels in a straight line. Since I'm a bonehead and can't share the teams I'm hoping for you guys to look at, I'm going to share the correct ones this time. We've got one for Modern and an adjustment for the Silver Detective build from a couple weeks ago. As always, thanks for the amazing content you guys bring and the fun I have listening to y'all. First is the Silver build. Not found, so fail on that one, Peter. A Modern build, also not found.
We're off to a hot start.
All right, here we go. Bonus team because I want to hear how hard someone laughs. Let's see. Not found.
3 for 3, just 0 for 3 there.
So Peter, there's this thing on HC units on your team builds, and you got to change it. It's changing. It's the It's the little spot that says or what does it say at first? Private. And you got to click that.
Private,
and
yeah.
Visibility. That's what it
Yeah.
is. And you got to change that to unlisted or public, and then you can send the links. Otherwise, we cannot see them. So we'll try again next week.
He's so oddly consistent. Can you make a video about this, like how to share your thing?
All right, let's go to the final thoughts. What do you got, Miles?
I'm looking forward to Adepticon. I can't wait to see everyone. Uncle Miles will be there. He might be bringing a friend. Who knows? Expect surprises.
All right, Pete.
I felt like there was a lot more herpes discussion at the end of this episode than usual. I'm also looking forward to Adepticon, and if I could make 2 requests of you, Redmond, it would be that you watch Gravity Falls and Ice Pirates.
I'll do one of those.
Sweet.
It's
Ice
not going to be
Pirates.
Ice Pirates.
No, you know what? You're gonna watch. You watch Ice Pirates. You'll know. Ice Pirates is. So Ron Perlman is in it as a young Ron Perlman. So that's
young Ron Perlman.
Yeah. And he looks exactly like you if you had luscious hair and a mustache.
Ron Perlman looks exactly like me.
Yeah.
You know, there is a little similarity. I can see that, Miles.
All right, Dan, what's your final thought?
I need like more than like a power nap from this past weekend. Like I still haven't like caught back up because I had a bunch of stuff going on Monday. Like I had a meeting at 7:30 in the morning on Monday, and then I just have not felt like I've gotten enough of a break to like recharge. So I'm excited for Adepticon, but I need like some time in the middle here to just catch my breath.
Yeah, I'm
Dan,
still feeling out of it.
You need to get the priest over and exercise Durhold out of your pipes. That's what you need to do.
Yeah. It's probably worth paying those yard guards to do it.
They just do it for free. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even have to charge.
Clearly, they're doing a horrible job then. Durald's still in there.
He's a sneaky guy.
Yeah.
All right, next week is our 1-year anniversary of starting the podcast, so we're going to try to do something cool for that, but we will wrap this up for this episode, so thanks for listening, and see you next time.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya!
Click it!